Secrets of the Federal Reserve.
Redo.
Where we will discuss the Illuminati, secrets of the Federal Reserve, 9/11, military-industrial complex, and the New World Order.
Hey, welcome to Fear Porn Propaganda. I'm Wisecraft, and today I'm with Anon 2150. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing, man?
Doing all right, you know. So you can't hear yourself,
I can't. No.
but you're going on. So just go ahead and tell me what you were talking about because that was really cool stuff, and then I'll set up the thing. We're gonna do a presentation on Saturn, but he was talking about some cool stuff. So go ahead and continue.
Yeah, and of course it all comes back to Saturn anyway. So, and it was this idea that we were getting from other folks that maybe evolution is this theory that isn't really worth considering. Like it's a pseudoscience in a way. It's just speculative. And then the contrast of that between the idea that again we live in a hyper space or some sort of anyway, like reality exists on another realm or some shit. I seem to have said it more eloquent earlier.
Well, you were on a flow. Just need to get back into that. So we'll just get on to something else. Oh, anyway, well, um, I'm setting up the presentation right now, and then we're gonna talk about Saturn today. What would you like to start it off with? Because you've been doing some research on that.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that I was starting this off. I guess I could just lay out the idea that we were going to talk about just the history of Saturn and some of the I don't know.
Well, anyway, I'm starting the presentation, so this is my presentation I did a little while ago. It has music, but I turned that down. And I wanted to emphasize that I put the links everywhere so people can go find their own and do their own research when they want to. So here's the first one. What do you think about that?
I
What do
don't
you want
know.
to discuss? This is what my whole interpretation of this was. I started with the symbol, right?
Yeah, that's
and
a good
and
one.
the symbol led me to information that was kind of like leading me into the past and how it used to be perceived, not how it's perceived now. So I put this information out there because I came across it and I wanted to show other people. So, but what's your take on Saturn before I continue?
Oh, okay. The way that I think Saturn should be viewed is kind of from a historical progression. You kind of want to trace its roots back as far as you can. Um, for modern science, it has there was from actually I should say pre-science, more like um, simple observations of their object being in the sky, and identifying it as a planet. When that occurred, and then some of the like beliefs of people at the time, like ancient Roman and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, that was Saturnalia. We had the Saturnalia thing,
Yeah.
and I put that in here somewhere on this presentation. And there's like a flow. You want me to continue it?
Yeah.
I have to invite people.
Are you pre-recording this?
Nope.
Okay, because it would be pretty goofy if we had to go back and listen to that.
But you missed like the last time for some reason you weren't here. So what you missed was we talked about um, baby backmasking or like child
back masking.
like when children talk backwards. I mean, not
Oh,
talk backwards. They
yeah.
talk normal,
Yeah, there are people who
but
do
it
that.
sounds like backwards. Like when you record it
Yeah.
and you send it backwards, it sounds normal.
Generally, those people are considered to be gifted in a way because they can do this kind of thing.
Right.
And there are people in history who have been documented knowing how to do this, and one of them famously was Edward Kelly. Edward Kelly. He worked with Dr. D, and they had they called it the shoe stone or the show stone, and they would look into it and see dancing demons and angels and all sorts of information would come flowing from this thing, and sometimes it would be in the form of Latin when recited by Dr. Edward Kelly.
Yeah.
From Kelly to Dr. D, then it would be symbols in Latin that he would have the doctor transcribe, and then when they read it out after, and there'd be these long lines of notes, they would read it from beginning to end, and it would be a message written backwards in Latin. And it's just really interesting to think about that. So that sort of thing does happen.
Yeah.
What are these children saying?
I
It
don't
could
know.
be disturbing.
There, it
You have
didn't
to
sound
record
like
them all the time.
creepy. I mean, well, it did sound creepy, but it didn't sound like evil. It sounded like more like a normal kind of conversation. It's just creepy that it's coming from backwards words from a child. I don't know. That's creepy. It seems creepy to me for some reason. But I came up with this idea. I think yesterday. Um, what if you had a machine that could actually record and then reverse it and play it back? Then you can, and like right away, right? So then you could like put that next to a child that's going wah 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 wah, and like doing their, you know, child talk as they're like kind of communicating back and forth with each other. Like there's some on like YouTube that have children communicating back and forth with each other in this backwards like type of talk, right? So what if you actually had something that could do that right away? You would be able to maybe communicate with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like have like a translator. It could be like a child translator. I don't know. It's just an idea.
It's good to know that this isn't being like pre-recorded.
What do you mean by pre-recorded?
Like this is going to be a show.
It is a show.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you didn't know you were broadcasting?
No.
That's hilarious.
I thought we were, and then I thought we weren't.
We weren't at the beginning, and then we did when I played the song.
We should start over.
You can't start over.
This is just going to be.
It's live, man. It's on.
That's what it means.
That's what it means.
That shit like this.
So
will
I'm
happen,
going back to
that. Your guest will look like an idiot when ask if we could start over.
Yes.
That is
So
exactly what that
I'm
means.
gonna
Fuck!
continue the presentation
Dude,
unless you have something else to say before I
yeah,
go,
no.
before I
good.
continue. Okay.
All right, is it public?
I don't remember. It might be. It doesn't matter because people don't.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Of course it does.
Why? How does that make any sense? They're trying to call me. I don't understand how that makes any sense.
Yeah. Hey, bro, it's me.
There's too many of these windows. I have to get used to this window situation. Where it goes. Okay, so where did my screen go?
Where did your screen go?
Oh, there
We're singing now.
That is what happened. All right,
That's
so
what
I'm
happens on
continuing
a
it.
live show. This is
So this part continues with the thing, and it talks about how the astronomical symbol is associated with lead. This is the lead symbol right here. So
lead, as we know, is very dense. It's also an alchemical property, but Saturn itself is very gaseous.
yeah,
It is
and
composed of a lot
as
of
far as we know.
carbon, as we could speculate. As far as we can speculate, Saturn has a lot of resources. If you think about it, and if we go into like transhumanist ideas and ask ourselves what sort of choices human beings might have to make in order to exist beyond what Earth could possibly provide for us. And so for that, we have to look for resources. And it's interesting to think about those resources being extraplanetary, like we would become a celestial race of some kind. We could potentially use a lot of the resources that could be provided by Saturn. And so Saturn then does have a great symbolism for the future of humanity as well, which is scary for some people to think about, I guess, because coming from the traditional Christian beliefs, those like mid Renaissance era were still like beholden to actually the Catholics didn't fully denounce the Aristotle view of the world until the late 1800s. So
It's true.
it's like we're coming from what is left over of a particular group of people who were adopting like beliefs from earlier times. And so you look back at that, where we've come, you you start to kind of understand the dichotomy that people's religious fears and beliefs can contradict in some ways, like empirical evidence and observations that can be confirmed, like the fact that we sent satellites to go and look at Saturn, and images that have come back. Sometimes they're not very good quality,
Right.
and then you get better quality over time. Um, what you see, Saturn has a lot to offer in the way of moons. It has different moons that have different properties. It has moons that have different elements and different like they're composed of different things. And so back to what I was saying about transhumanism is that's something that could possibly link us to the capability of being able to do that, like to be able to reach out for it. If the human race were dying in our last ditch effort, would we be willing to transport our consciousness into um, other vessels?
I would think that, if you take Moore's law into account, and eventually we meld with the machine technology,
Mm-hmm.
because we eventually don't have a choice anymore. It's just the transhumanism takes over
Yeah.
at some point based on Moore's law.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would eventually have to take that point of view.
Well, we consume so many resources now. Think if we had like a more efficient body, we could still pretty much experience all the same things. Would we choose to do that if that body could live forever? I mean, think about it. If you could have your body now and just like it would just be assured that it would live forever, how amazing would that be? Something awful would have to happen to you in order for you to like cease to exist at that point. And maybe they just save your consciousness in reserve for some other body in case you need it. It's exactly like the one you have. It's like perfect.
Yeah, you would have to.
That's some crazy shit, man. And who are these people in the future? What are they capable of?
Well, they would
I know it's a
probably have
long
to
way
create
off.
other timelines in connection to their own, like disconnection from their own timeline,
Yeah.
in order to essentially connect with us.
And because it's a potential.
And are we on the same timeline?
Exactly. There's a possibility of it happening. Like the potential is there in the future that we could develop technology like this. And modern science and modern technology kind of shows you where we're headed, even though these things that we're talking about are way far off in the future. It's like something completely different.
Right.
Should we keep going with the presentation?
If you want, I like what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
well,
So
if this is going to be like archived later,
it will.
I hope not, because I don't think it's a very good show so far. I
Well,
think it sucks.
you've been saying some poignant things.
I'm
in
trying.
that
Hey,
perspective.
man, I'm not trying to shit on anybody's parade, but
But anyway, so yeah, I'll continue with the presentation. Let's see. We're on lead.
just talking to you and everybody. Fuck yeah. See, this show is stupid. It's so fucking retarded.
Well, you're welcome to, you know,
I have to go.
Yeah, I know
Goodbye.
you have to go. So
Fuck you. Please
That's
don't
right.
put this on. If you have to, leave it on there for like a day, and then just please let's revisit episode 6. Put it in like a private archive.
I'm gonna
Dude,
be
put it
putting
in the
my
vault.
presentation on. So
This was one that shouldn't come
after
out.
you leave, I'm just
right
gonna
now.
continue with my presentation.
Once we become famous, and then this one comes out, I'll be like, huh, yeah, that Brian guy, he's a fucking dick. Oopsie, I said my real name.
You've done that
I'm
already.
supposed to be Anon 2150, like anonymously from the future.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Actually, I
Could be
do.
Brian from the future.
I actually like to think about parallel realities constantly.
Yeah.
I never stop. I do it all the time. I like.
What is your perspective
do
on
I
parallel
make a left
universes?
here? What? What is my perspective?
Yeah, how's that work?
How does my perspective work?
No. How does your perspective on parallel universes work?
How does the perspective of parallel universes work?
Not yours.
Mine. I don't even. That's crazy. It's like I
We got
have this
deep there, man.
contraption It's like got cogs and wheels and forms and things
I'm telling you, I'm getting
inside of
really
it, and
deep
they're all
with
just you can just take them all apart. But so my perception is like choice based, which is a message that comes out at me. Your choices are really important in life. We see each other making lots of stupid decisions constantly. And the question is like, how do I keep you from doing that? Well, in most cases, you can't. There's no point in trying. Um, uh, and I say that in like a limited term. Of course, if we see corruption on a wide scale going down, of course. What the fuck was that? Is that a
it's
knock at the door?
actually, you can hear this.
Was that the NSA? Those fuckers. Did he almost say the word revolution?
Yeah, I had this music
Oh,
going.
fuck.
It's like really hard to get.
That one will take you down a slippery slope.
There we go. I can hear it. So yeah, this is lead.
Yeah, I had an idea about that was interesting. Lead is like a grounding element.
So hey, what's going on, Janelle? Welcome.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Are you oh, there you
Hello.
go. Hello.
Is that a library?
So, we're talking about Saturn, and then we kind of got into a little bit of transhumanism.
Yeah, like the future of things. Okay.
Anyway, so
That was
we'll
a lame
continue
show
where you
for
were
her
at.
too.
What?
She also thought that was a lame show.
I'm
Our
sure.
show.
Yeah.
This is a stupid show. I come on, they don't even say anything.
Go ahead. You were talking, or do you
Yeah.
want me to continue?
Lead, the symbolism. It was funny to think about how lead is like a dense property.
Mhm.
It shields you from radiation. And so, in a way, if you think of the alchemy, the mental alchemy of the concept of Saturn is like dense in a way. It sort of shields you from being able to perceive what is like beyond the spectrum of that. Like, so we see things in a really narrow view of reality, like what our eyes perceive and what our, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
But what does that have to do with lead?
Well, just that we see things on a narrow view, and the whole point of like our human experiment is to move beyond that, to open our awareness and broaden our experiences.
Okay.
It seems like that is an evolutionary force in humanity, and if more people are willing to do that, you get them coming out of a dense mind frame, like a dense perspective of reality. And
So
that's
it's
why
kind of alchemical.
yeah, that's why I think of it in maybe an alchemical term. It's funny to say that because it's kind of an odd word, but the idea that our choices are so important and they shape our future. I mean, we can create different realities for ourselves based on our choices. It's just amazing the power of that, isn't it? I mean, every moment that you're alive, you're faced with making choices that further your experience along these lines, and you have to ask yourself like, what do you want? What you don't want? We see on a societal level all sorts of crazy choices being made, and we're also thinking today about the okay, I just lost it. Saturn.
Dun, dun, dun.
How did I do that?
I
That
have
was
no
stupid.
idea. So this actually shows, right, what's going on with the whole connection, because you got like right here the symbol, the seal of Saturn. You got right here how the seal is driven, because it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's how that's drawn.
Yeah.
And then the connection to lead with Saturn
Oh.
is what you were just talking about, the
Yeah.
alchemical.
Yeah. I was also talking about the transcendental aspect of it too. Like we're talking about the future and these choices that we could possibly make could lead us to a world where we like build spaceships and stuff and we harvested the resources of Saturn somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that being like a salvation for humanity at some point. That is, if we weren't smart enough to agree that we should at least do what we can to preserve what was left of Earth, if we're going to move beyond and leave it, we wanted to at least come back and visit. Um, People want to live there, of course, too, but there's going to create a dichotomy. It'll like it could create a type of, if there's a classicism involved with that, then we're all pretty much fucked. So the best thing to do is to try to shed these ideologies that we have as best we can
Right.
in order to be open-minded enough. We're either going to to be in this like shitty situation where we have no choice, we have to leave Earth, it fucking sucks there, and we've exhausted the resources by um, population growth and what have you. Or if we could kind of make choices that were smarter, we could try to save what's left of the Earth and exist like on a celestial level. We'll become this like celestial race.
That reminds me of that movie again, Interstellar, which totally explains, I mean, totally kind of
Yeah.
plays out that role,
Yeah.
but like goes, oh, you know what? Most of humanity can just like die off or makes pretty much all of, and then we'll just seed the next new humanity.
Yeah. I love movies
And
because
it could have been what happened to us in a sense, right? In the past.
exactly. And you can see these stories already being played out in media. The shit I'm talking about, like it's hella radical and hella weird and shit. It's they're already writing stories about it that are pretty cool. They've got like cool graphics and stuff. You can check it out. And you see symbolism everywhere too. And Saturn seems like a big one. There's this like idea that if we can get there, we'll be able to continue to evolve. And I don't know, it's scary because smart people are manipulative and they want to like, you can see that people who have power, their only goal is to gain more power and more control, and it's this like monster. So the more technology you give them that they can use to control you, the question becomes, you know, are they going to do it, or what are we going to do about this inevitability that they will try to use it and abuse it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's nothing really we can do about that. We can only try to figure out if they're going to do that or not.
Yeah, we just have to like,
and then prepare for it. If we find out that they are going to do that, we
Mhm.
have to prepare for that event.
Yeah.
So then we, you know, when it happens, we know what we're going to do
Yeah.
instead of like just kind of being.
Oh, and we have to find like empirical observation. We have to like let that lead us in some ways to certain other possibilities and other conclusions.
Well, it'd be good to. I would think so.
Yeah.
Instead of the alternative, which it seems like just giving up, you know, and letting it happen, letting things take over. And I mean, it just 1984 kind of perception.
1984.
Interesting.
Now I have to forward this because People dumping. It's not my fault.
Hey, what's going on, Haplo?
Dude,
Hello.
what's up, man? You were
Hello.
topic
Hello?
of conversation a little bit earlier.
We can
What's
hear
going
you.
on?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing?
It's another day in the life.
Right on.
How's everybody else doing?
We're doing all right.
Not good.
We're
So
talking
it's-
about transhumanism again and Saturn,
Yeah.
and there's this presentation that Keith made. We're trying to get through. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Good old transhumanism.
So how do we? Do you want to be brought up to speed, or just want to?
I mean, transhumanism is transhumanism. I've got my ideas about things on that subject. I don't know where you guys are at with it.
Oh, the future of humanity possibly using the resources of Saturn as like a way to extend our species in the future.
Well, I can't remember his name now, but the guy that runs Google, and also Microsoft head guy, they both talk about soon and very soon that human life will be extended to 500 years.
Yeah, we were talking about stuff like that too, man.
Yeah, and it's interesting. For me, my personal preferences is that I was born human. I'd rather die human. I'm not really into the whole Borg thing.
Yeah, and you were born on Earth, you want to die on Earth too, right?
Yeah, I want to I want to leave this and go somewhere else. I don't want to be just trapped here.
Yeah.
Welcome, Grim.
Hey, how's it going? Mic working?
What's up?
Yep.
Oh, good shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have long. I just wanted to stop in, say hi, maybe
Awesome.
check in
Great
on
to
some
have
of the convo, maybe throw in a little input or something if I can figure out where we're at.
For sure.
Right on.
Hi everybody. I don't know everybody. Hello.
You haven't met Anon. Go ahead.
Yep. My code name's Anon2150 or some shit. I'm like anonymous from the future.
All right, it's not. Oh, okay. Anon. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's just Anon. Whatever.
Nice to meet you, Anon.
Yeah, he's actually here with me, like physically.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we
Shit.
started Fear Porn Propaganda.
Yeah,
together.
Right on.
It's like a collaboration.
we're both fear porn.
Nice.
I'm actually Wisecraft. My channel is Conspiracy with a K.
Oh yeah, I wrote you down.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're talking about transhumanism currently and Saturn. Well, we're kind of going back and forth.
Well, the whole. Can I mind if I throw in a little bit?
Not
Cool.
at all.
Go ahead.
For sure. The whole thing about this Saturn thing and people are getting all involved in. I study I have to throw you a little background first. I mean, I know you probably know, but for your viewers, I might not look at the part, but I study ancient cosmology, which is just cosmology. But the fact that we've been writing it down for 500,000 years is pretty remarkable. There's something else going on. Our solar system was different, and Saturn was very close, and the Talmudic Jews about the Gilgamesh story, eating its own babies and all that. This is Saturn eating its moons, and we were able to see all that. And there's cave depictions. If you check out the Thunderbolts project, I know I refer to them a lot, but there's a lot going on there. They do a lot of unveiling of some of these plasma sciences and the symbolisms that are in. that we're seeing on cave drawings and stuff, and we're thinking, oh, they were talking about aliens, but in reality they're not. They're actually showing you plasma discharges, because that's what they look like, and we can duplicate it in the laboratory, so we know that's what it looks like. That's where the idea of the crown came from. That's where all this shit is from. And they pointed out a lot better. I'm just kind of showing you that they're over there. You know what I mean? You go check them out. Thunderbolts Project. What is it? Something of an alien sky. I can't. Discourses of an alien sky. And then when Saturn ruled the world and that kind of shit. So now what we're dealing with is an esoteric knowledge that this is the base of it all. Saturn was like our sun, basically. It was like the planet we were in its bubble. You know what I'm trying to say? That was the heavens.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm like there with you.
Like, what if Earth was a spin-off of Saturn?
You just think of proto Saturn. When you search that proto Saturn, you'll start understanding. That's before it is what it is now.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you go by those history, like original cuneiform text stuff, it explains that we weren't like originally going around the sun or Sol. We were going around Saturn.
We were going on Saturn.
So we were like basically a moon of Saturn.
And Saturn was going around Sirius.
Right.
Now we captured a sun, which is another a Z-pinch and another Birkeland crane. Right?
That makes a lot of sense, because that's where you get the whole Sothic cycle.
That's right. And now we have the sun has always it was going around Sirius already. So we ended up getting captured by the sun that is going around Sirius. Like, think of it like this:
That's
a chemical reaction.
I came to the same conclusion.
I think of it like this: hold on a second. Shut your damn dogs up.
Yeah, drawn to you, man.
So check it out. The dog's barking in my head. I hate it.
They're
So
just barking in the Matrix. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
that's why they're barking, because they're here to distract me. Where was I?
Serious.
So if you think about it all, the micro is the macro. It's the same. All fractals. If we can envision that for a second, you think of this then. Out in outer space, what you're seeing is, from our tiny little perspective, you're seeing the protons and the electrons of a giant fluid chemical reaction going on up there. We don't see the watery reaction of it. We don't see the chemical aspect of the reaction. All we see is the electrical aspect of the reaction, all the way down to the very tiniest part, since those are the tiniest of parts. You see what I'm trying to say? To us, they're the tiniest of parts. Yeah, it's almost like, that's what you would think of as another dimension. It's just we're just too damn small. We're so little, tiny. You get it?
Yeah.
And then it goes back down even further through us to smaller. But we see it in the same way if we perceive it at that level, like if we're looking for it as small. But if we were tinier than the things we were looking at, we would see them as planets, and they would have life on them, and there would be all this shit.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, man, I really think that.
Can I add something to your point?
For sure.
There was some sort of a theory that bugs perceived reality in a slower way. Like, the smaller you get, the slower the reactions look.
I don't think it's a theory at all. Yeah.
No, I
see it that way. Like pictures. When I was a little kid, I noticed that, sure, the smaller wheel made more revolutions than the bigger wheel.
Yeah, it does make sense.
The same center piece spinning, and the smaller wheel makes more revolutions than the bigger wheel. So the smaller wheel sees things, the bigger wheel as going more slowly, and the bigger wheel sees the smaller wheel as going faster.
Yeah. I can definitely perceive that. Like, if we look at Saturn, for example, it is like a chemical reaction all happening at once. But
that's why I say time is only relative to distance.
It's like happening in slow motion.
See how I rewrite the math in my head so I can I rewrite math. I rewrite it in my head to where time is only relative to distance. Then we don't have to jump out of another uh, dimension in order to do our math. We don't have to divide anything by zero. We don't have to add improper, inconsistent realities, with infinities and shit.
It's
You
like
just
sacred
this
geometry,
time
like when you
is
do sacred
distance.
geometry, everything goes like
That might be
infinitely in or infinitely out. It's the same
That's
design.
why it's there. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah.
well, that might be a detach from some like thinking, like structured thinking.
And here's the deal. Now they use all of these things in order to manipulate us in ways like they know when the events are going to happen. And when I say they, I'm talking about the original, the pharaohs themselves, who are the Freemasons, who are the Knights Templars, who are this, you know, all of the rulers who run the Committee of 300 through proxy, who then the Committee of 300 in turn run all of the countries in our world through proxy, and you know, but via the Pope and the Black Pope to make it look as if they're responsible for something as well. And then there's all this esoteric knowledge that leads you all the way back to one or two main groups, but those are proxy groups. Even though they're all in on it, they're all bad, but they're in on it. But they're in proxy to keep the original humans, who we're trying to call aliens and Anunnaki, and they're trying to make it so mysterious that we never go after them because it'll teach us learned helplessness. If they're all omnipresent beings, then what the fuck are we ever going to be able to do about it? But that's bullshit. They're just hella fucking smart because they didn't disconnect themselves genetically from their higher brain functions like it is like we are. We are fucking disconnected from our higher brain functions. Every once in a while I tap into them, so I know it's true. I know we have it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I can see complete vivid pictures of things that I'm talking about. I put them together and it's like it's unreal. I try to explain it to people and they think you're crazy. So I know some of us can tap into it here and there accidentally or whatever. So I know we're reconnecting to this. And that's what all this poisoning is about, I believe, is to keep us from, what we're calling, all the truthers are calling ascending. But I mean, keep our genetics from reattaching and reconnecting to our higher brain functions and discovering that all religions are from the same set of sources because it's simple. The cosmology is all there and it's within all the religions. And you guys lied. You said you couldn't travel, but you can because look at the pyramids. And you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the whole thing is a bullshit scramble, but I figured it out. I mean, to me, I think I did. It's just I'm crazy as far as anybody else is concerned. So why listen to me? And then when I point out information like, yeah, go to Santo Spinaci. Oh, he's a shill. Why do you think? Look, I say this all the time. They're all shills. Anybody with that much information that's selling books or just trying to do something and and it's not about the truth, then yeah, on the one level he might be a shill accidentally even. Because he's a believer in the last curve. The last curve, back into gods, back into aliens.
Accept the fact that you or I might actually be a shill someday if we're not already. Somebody.
If they come to me with $500 million and no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of money.
Not worth
yeah,
my
you
soul.
You can't buy back after you already killed my mom, so I think we're good with me. They're not buying me back. You can't kill somebody's mom and buy them back.
Through the medical crap that they've done, my mother died at a very early age, and
yeah,
I know it was through the mishandling of the what I call the serpent handling of the medical world. They got their little serpents, it all has some trace back, and it's another form of control.
Yeah, viruses are a hoax.
Oh, yeah,
instead of doing that,
all of the
GMOs,
I researched microbiology,
all that stuff. It's a system of control to keep the sheep that they call us goyim, and it's a system of control, and there's many facets to the system of control, and we could get hung up on one facet while the other one we're not even looking at, and that's the system of control they've got us in because we're focused on one, and then the other one standing right next to us controlling us completely. We don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's what I mean by rule through proxy.
Exactly.
Pretty much covers that.
For me, I've started realizing that I unplugged. This is kind of my story. I guess I stick with it. I have been trying to unplug from what was presented to me. I was like everybody else, plopped down in front of a TV. I might be a little older, so my TV shows are like The Incredible Hulk and Dukes of Hazzard, Spider-Man, and the Justice League, or Super Friends before they turned it to Justice League. But anyway, things like that. When I finally unplugged from their system, I started realizing that the TV, the program, all of that stuff was programming me and it was basically telling me how to think and telling me how to feel. And I wanted to get away from that. I wanted to be me. I wanted my own choice. And it came to me just ever so slowly with my seeking. And I did find that I believe every one of us creates our own reality. And we share these realities with each other, and they kind of collide with each other every once in a while. But we're being programmed through media and other things to almost be like with the Borg, like in Star Trek. I have like a hive mind, and it's going into this very dark realm, and that's where people like
I get antsy listening to people talk because it takes them so long to get to the point. It's like, and I'm not trying to be rude. I really am not. I promise. I'm just a really fast thinker, and I've already got your, yeah, it's like really wasting my time. It feels like nails on a chalkboard because it's slow, and we get to the point. We're already there. I mean, that's why I talk about angles and prisms. Yeah, we don't deal with angles and prisms. That's why I cut to the chase, common denominator, the start of everything, the human experience. The reality of the situation, all the way back to the stuff. People get caught up like you're doing right now on accident. You get caught up in explaining like slow-mo 101 realities.
I slowed my mind down. I used to do what you're talking about, and I would get too far ahead of myself, and I would trip up.
Well, I'm 40 years old. You still got another, 20 years of...
I'm 41.
Oh, okay.
I've been around a minute.
We were talking about cartoons and shit earlier. I was like, what the fuck? Dukes of Hazzard.
I've been around a minute.
Yeah.
Keats is 42.
No,
I'm not. All the same age.
I've decided to look around me and just kind of like take everything very slow.
Step outside of
and
reality is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I've done. I'm trying to unplug even more from stuff. But also, I mean, we all know one thing we all can agree on: there's something wrong with the world. We just don't know what it is because we are living in an ocean of lies, and we're all trying to figure out what the truth is in that ocean of lies.
See, I'm not standing inside of that. We all are trying to figure out what the truth is. I figured it out. And now I'm trying to tell you guys what the truth is. I know that sounds arrogant, but I mean, that comes with the territory. Intelligent people do sound arrogant. I mean, it's just the way it is. And pointing it out, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like I'm an asshole. And I know that, dude. I mean, I really do. And I feel bad that it sounds that way. But it's like I only have one life now. Look, 20 years of solid researching into microbiology. I've looked into astrotheology for so many years, the cosmology, the correlations between ancient religions and the cosmology, the antiquity of the human race, ancient technologies, and never did I ever once think we were going into alien land. That's the lead. That's where they herd you into.
Yeah, I'm not buying it either.
Right. I understand that there's life on other planets. I know that there is because of the way life forms, but the way they're getting off of planets and getting as far as over here through all that voltage and radiation, that's almost an impossibility that we need to register in our heads. Like there's a separation from the physics that we know here in a pressurized zone with very little plasma on Earth. Not the plasma we're seeing out in outer space, you know what I mean? It's plasma is the most common form of matter found in the universe and the least studied here on Earth, right? So, I mean, there's a reason for that. And it's not that it's because it's not important. It's because they're trying to leave the important stuff out of the equation so we can't figure this shit out. That's what fucking Einstein was all about. He was the shill of the century for that. And then Pasteur, he was the second shill. Einstein's the math shill. He's going to bring you into the...
Hey, bro. Hey, let's talk about one thing that sounds cool. I mean... They all interlink. Like you see some complications that relativity presents to modern society.
Yeah, the Rick equation. The Rick equation yeah, with Einstein's own theory. Here, I'll get to it in a second. The Rick equation implies that there's no source and no matter in a universe, right? The Rick equation.
Hold on,
You know what I'm talking about?
Grim. Hold on. Let Anon say his thing, and then you can continue.
I wanted to.
Okay, I didn't have a lot. I was just trying to get it out real quick.
No. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of information. I thought I would present something, and you can share maybe like your ideas on that. You know.
Well, I got a better idea. I'll tell you that the Rick equation is, you know, what Einstein's using to create his black hole theory, right? He says first that there's no fucking source, and then there's no matter. That's where you start. But then, as he's explaining to get to the field equations in his own writings, he says, as his explanation for the math, that it's a outside of body, implying that there's source. So he's using confusing words to make his math work. And that's where it goes wrong. And then he uses the field equations and he divides things by 0, adding infinity to the situation. Then you could just turn black to white, 4 to 5. You can do whatever you want with that. That's why it's bullshit. And people don't understand that math is actually like art. You can do almost anything you want with it in all kinds of ways, but it doesn't mean that that's the physical reality of what you're looking at out there. Okay, that's the point we were trying to make, and they wanted to hide ether from the equation, act like there's no electromagnetics in space, that it's all just this gravity thing, that they can't even ever tell you what it really is without using electromagnetics as a model. They can't, because it doesn't work. And so we figured that out. Now, these people at the Thunderbolts Project, they point all that kind of stuff out. Now, stopping there, I'm talking about microbiology. It's how they killed my mother. So I started studying that shit. And viruses aren't real. Louis Pasteur plagiarized and vulgarized the work of Antoine Béchamp. And if you check out the disease causation theory, you can see what I'm talking about. The disease comes from within the body. After the body is chemically altered, or it starts to ferment, if the tissues will die and ferment, you understand? They reach a high acidic value or whatever. Well, then the cells secrete enzymes, right? These enzymes become bacterium. Through the process of pleomorphism, we get Microzema semitis. All right, and these are the phoenix coming out of the ashes. This is the smallest particle all life on Earth is broken down to. The smallest particle. You can burn us to ashes, and we're in the ashes, and the little pieces are still alive, dude. You can't destroy them. They're I mean, you can over 3,000 degrees Celsius, but I mean, to disintegrate it back into nothing, like plasma, you know, ether, back into the electricity it came from, or it's a semitis,
energy can't be like
conservation of energy, exactly.
It can only be changed.
Yes, exactly. It's called the conservation of energy, and that's what we're talking about. And that's the phoenix coming out of the ashes. It just connects so many things in all the ancient biblical texts, you know, from biblicals to you know, whatever they're supposed to be. You know, it connects all those stories. And this is what I try to explain to people: the correlations between amazing sciences, cosmology, subtle earth sciences, human experience, like human sciences. That's why prayer works, no matter what religion you are. As long as you're intent and you have a group intent and you're focused on a situation, and prayer really does work. But it's the common denominator is, because if all religions or only one is right, then why does prayer work with all religions, right? It's the human being, the common denominator. By creating religions, they hijacked our natural powers and made us feel that we owe it to something else instead of us, all of us, not my individual self. No, you and your friends and my friends and them. We owe it to all of us. You know what I'm saying? And they turn it around to, oh, what makes you think all you? And I'm not saying it's all me. I'm saying it's all us. This is so great and grandiose and powerful. Every human being on the fucking planet is connected. That's way bigger than just me, my narcissistic old me thinking I'm an internal God. No, it's nothing like that at all. But that's what they try to play on you. So you feel bad about wanting to be powerful on your own.
Well, that's the Luciferian way. They play that role.
Luciferian is, listen, you're in a paradigm. When you say stuff like that to me, it's like nails on a chalkboard. That's why I try to say this. When people say, oh, that's that Luciferian stuff, that is just to instill your fucking beliefs in their religion. They use the esoteric knowledges to look like creepy devil worshippers to you, so that you think that God is real, because they think the devil is real. You see, but they're not doing that. They're that's the
Yeah,
trick.
but I don't believe either of those, so they
I
don't
know, but
affect
you
me
might
that
not,
way.
but the other people
Yeah,
do.
they say that.
They see, they go, look at those devil worshippers. God's gonna get them, and they're laughing. They're like,
But that's their own trip.
because I
That's their
created
own
both,
trip.
and they
I
think
can't, you know, push you through the door. I can only show you the door. You know what I mean? I can't push you through the door. I can't open the door. I can only show you that there's the door.
Yeah, it comes down to choices, basically. That comes back to an idea that we were talking about earlier. This idea that we could create different experiences for ourselves based on like choices that we make and things like that.
But eventually, we're not going to have a choice. They're taking our choices as we like speak.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
what are we gonna do about people who that's their agenda?
Yeah. So like, if you like allow them to take all of your choices away, you're left with no choices, and then that's no
Do
life.
you hear what I'm saying?
Obviously, and that's why
I'm saying that
you're saying
who-
it all doesn't
who's telling me
matter.
what
You're
choices
saying that
I have?
basically it doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? Who's trying to tell me what choices I have? Like,
What?
some people think inside of very small
Not me.
boxes, so
That's
they
hard
can
to
only
do.
see
Yeah,
a couple
no,
of
it's not.
choices. You know, when
It's
when
not
in
us
reality,
doing this on here on the internet. It's the people on the outside. They're the ones forcing us into choice.
yeah, a lot
The
of
ones that
change.
aren't here.
You have the choice.
Oh
to
yeah,
make,
we talk
like,
about that with the
certain
vaccines and
things
all that
like
kind of
wake up in the
stuff.
morning and go take a piss, or like smoke a bowl or some shit.
Yeah, but eventually we have to work. We have times that we're stuck into, and we have to use those times like, what is it called? Like very creatively throughout the day. Otherwise, you don't get to do what you actually want to do as a human. You only get to do what they want you to do. And that's the choice.
Yeah, and the whole point is to like step outside of that matrix in a way, and
Yeah.
like open your mind, because that's really the only hope that there is for us, for humanity, is to open
Right.
up our mind to like what that really means. To not
And
assume
and
that we
what better
already
way to
have
do
all
that?
the answers, but
That's
to like
right, man.
look at the evidence and make conclusions for ourselves. And that's what you're talking about doing, and like we totally agree with that. There's some things that you need to take for not just for granted, but you need to be taken into consideration are like the empirical evidence that is presented, and like
Right,
the
exactly. And a lot of
language.
people, they go, "Oh, it's your idea of this and your idea of that."
So the choice, like either to
I thought you
believe
stopped.
something because it's more likely, rather than reject it because it, it isn't. All right,
Go ahead.
go ahead, homie.
I'm gonna turn you up so I can hear when I'm actually over talking you guys like a jackass. There we go.
So you can hear yourself better.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
If
I realized that you were talking because I was talking, but I saw your thing vibrating, and I was like, "Holy shit! I think I'm over talking you."
If I can interject real quick, for me, the real question was and is, what is truth?
There you go. And that's where I am at with this.
I love
Provable,
talking-
observable, measurable, repeatable things. This is what I try to point out. And this is what I try to use in order to show correlations between all of these things, between the cosmology and the religions. They're all from the same source. And then once you can show them that, you pretty much are showing them that this was all created for them. And then they have to ask why. Then why would human beings create all of this for us and tell us it's all these different religions and we're supposed to believe in them? You know what I mean? And so then they can go back and see that, yes, the pharaohs must have never fallen. And then Rome never fell. And then Babylon, whatever the fuck they're talking about. And then back and forth. And then fucking, now here's the U.S. They're pretending to fall again. Except the Committee of 300 owns and rules the U.S. They're not going to lose a damn thing. They're already set up to create the new dollar in China. Actually, that's already happened the other day. They're ready to drop 40 countries into that. Oh, that happened too the other day. So here we go. This place, these people are fixing to throw the U.S. under the bus. They're the same pharaohs. They work for them. It's the Knights of Malta and them. It's the same people, the same crew that owns it all, and they're not going to lose a thing. It's just me and you in the countries. We're going to go cull each other's populations for them. We're under this rationalism that economic structure, religious structure, the politics, all kinds of whatever templates of rule from communism, fascism, all the different templates. that we have here, capitalism, it's all fucking crony. So it doesn't matter. Every single bit of it is bullshit. The point is, what I'm trying to say is that everybody is so wrapped up in all of this thing. They have all of these ways to rationalize how countries are really on separate teams and how they're really working against each other, that they just never break out of that paradigm of thinking, well, break into the new paradigm of knowing that they're all controlled by one central hub anyway. Why would I go fight anybody in Russia? Why would I believe any of that bullshit with the planes and the crashes and any of that bullshit when I know that they're just trying to build rationale for a situation so that the public will fall for it and be into it. So that, because if they just do it and do it all out in the open, then it's like, whoa, a roaring fucking stop. You motherfuckers aren't going to do this shit to us. But if we say we want it, they trick us into wanting all these things, then yeah, we're not going to stop them from doing it.
Let me interject here. That is called the Hegelian dialectic.
Exactly.
We're being set up. It's kind of like the plot of Star Wars. Palpatine, as the hidden emperor, creates two fighting forces, divides and conquers. The real question is this really the reality we are in? Are we in a holographic universe? Is there a spiritual reality?
Well, if we start thinking we're in a holographic universe, then we're pretty fucked, and that means that all the people who have feelings don't really matter. It really transhumanizes everything into some sort of dumb thought, because you lose empathy as soon as you start thinking that way. So we're going to not.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I won't go that route. That's another.
This is a temporary holding tank for us. It's been called the Matrix for many years.
Well,
the Greeks called it that.
Physical reality is
temporary.
All physical, right? All physical realities are temporary, but I don't think they mean it this way. I don't think they mean it that way.
We're just children growing up, moving on to the next. We die, we go on
to the next. I really don't see it that way. No, I really don't.
That's fine.
Look, I mean,
I see it that way.
I'm not a child. I'm a man. I grow up as a child and become a man, and then I get an old man, and then I die.
So you say that your point of view is the only point of view that can exist.
No.
Your point of view is the only point of view that exists, and none other exists, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that I've already checked out thousands of points of view.
Okay.
And this is the one that I'm with. I'm not saying it only exists.
It's the right one, and it's the truth.
Right.
The only truth.
Everyone has their own truth, right? Or am I wrong?
That's the question you posed.
Yeah.
I guess you're the one that has to answer it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It was rhetorical because I thought you were, what I see to me, my life's experiences might not add up to you. Like I said, I study plasma sciences, so I see things that you're not going to see. I study fucking ancient history and ancient building techniques. I see things you're not going to see. Because I can synchronize things, because I have things to synchronize. My point is, yes, I know I make much better decisions than most, because I study much more than most. So, like, and you think I'm kidding? I mean,
hey, let me say something. We all come from different perspectives, and we all have our own research, and it's good that we have it, and we
yeah, I think my demeanor, the way I present myself, may confuse you a bit. Because, yeah, it's easy to think that, oh, who's the stoner guy with the funny hat on, right? He's just talking to make noise. But he knows about the pyramids. He knows why they're built out of the materials that they're built of. Yes, I do. I know pink granite is an irradiated stone. It'll carry a current through the air. It doesn't need water. So I know that the pyramids, King's Chamber is tuned to the F sharp, right? I know that's the same tune that the vibratory frequency of the planet Earth is on as well, an F sharp. Well, I know that if you try and create a HHO generator out of it, it's really ridiculous, and it's really shitting on the very important technology that these pyramids are. I know that their distances from the tropic equator are a specific arc distance ratio needed to draw enough current to create the wireless situation that the machine is creating. I know that Nikola Tesla copied it on Nob Hill, the direct arc ratio, not distance, but the arc distance ratio as the equator is to the pyramid, as his tower on Nob Hill is to the equator. The same arc ratio. Now, this is not for HHO generators. This is to draw power from the Earth and then to retransmit it back out to the planet. So I know a lot of shit, dude, and I know that there's millions of megalithic structures all over the planet, and a lot of them are made out of electromagnetic properties and sound properties through the ores that they're made from. A lot of these structures are actually, we copy them with the computer chips that we're making today. We're copying them. That means that they already have the technology. They're just using it in smaller ways, giving it to us so it can all get burnt up again. These the stones, these megalithic structures are made out of quartz and silica and you know, things that are holding and storing energy. The same shit that we use to make their computer chips out of today.
Hold on a
So,
second, Grim.
look at my video,
Hold on a
Motherboard
second.
Earth.
Graham,
Yeah.
hold on a second. I just want to welcome Giggity. Welcome. Didn't get to say hi.
Hey
Oh,
guys.
dude, he loves listening to me rant, bro.
All right, go ahead, man.
So you're not really talking to your average Joe, you know, and I could keep going on for days, dude. I mean, literally, ask Giggity or go back and watch some of my other shows. You know what I mean? Like I literally talk about
I'm
a lot.
watching them.
Thank you. But yeah, I'm not here with this normal opinion of yeah, I'm standing here with the rest thinking that I'm all confused and da 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 da, or my opinion is the only one that matters. But when you're constantly standing in the room and your opinion is the only one that's actually been right, like 9 times out of 10 all the time, it's really hard to just put yourself down and say, yeah, your opinion is probably equally as good as mine, because that would actually be a lie. Just if I was rolling the dice by on chance out of 9 times out of 10. So don't take it as arrogance, man. It's not really arrogance. It's more like it's just solid. It's just what it is. You know
Oh,
what I
no
mean?
problem. I just want to let you know, guys, that Anon 2150 had to leave. He had to go back to work.
Oh, that sucks.
He said goodbye.
Later, man. It sucks having to work. What's up, Gig? What you up to?
I'm just rolling one right now. Good show last night, man. Yeah. I'm actually in the business of sending invites for my show tonight, so I was kind of busy, and I just kind of jumped on to say hi to you guys, and that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know. What time's your show tonight?
It's like 8,
Nice to have you.
like 6 hours from now, sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're in the same area as me then, as far as the time zone.
Yeah, you're West Coast with me.
West Coast.
Word, man.
Yeah, I was just, you know, I was just defending my position about, you know, someone was thinking that I was saying that my opinion is the only one that matters. So.
No, everybody should matter, you know. I think that everybody should have their own opinion and just do their own research, you know what I mean? And I like how you spread your research, man, because you have a lot of research that, like the whole Thunderbolts project, I've actually checked it out quite a bit, and
I just think you shouldn't take things so personally, Grim. It's a you know, like Toltec wisdom thing.
Everybody runs their own, you know, runs it the way they run it. To me, it's personal because I'm really here trying to defeat the system that killed my mother. So it's always personal on a level like that, and I can't just hide that. That'd be phony. I'm not really here for the same reasons as a lot of you guys are. So it's going to be a little different. Like, you wouldn't internalize the personal feelings that I'm internalizing through any of these conversations because it didn't happen to you. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
it happened
exactly.
to me.
I understand.
So the way I perceive these conversations is a battle. It's a fucking battle to get the truth out. It's a war on the motherfuckers who are killing us. And it's like apathy and ignorance and all the people who don't want to listen to, because it's not my fucking opinion. I'm not throwing my opinions out. This is what I'm trying to get to. Everybody wants to say it's about your opinion and, oh, well, that's what you believe and everything. And I'm showing provable scientific evidence that can be measured and duplicated in the laboratory.
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to say. It's so much different than anybody else's
my
fucking
whole
opinion.
science perspective on Saturn is like your perspective on science.
Exactly. That's part of why we get along, because I go and I look at all your stuff like that, and I know you're trying to not get caught up in the angles and prisms quite as much, but you're still trying to see what the science is about it all. That's the major part. That's where you're supposed to be doing in my book.
Exactly. And my whole thing is finding sources. I like to find the sources. If I can't find sources, then there's definitely holes.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing. Sometimes I am the source. Sometimes I'm the one who put this thought together, and then I have to research an idea to make sure I can connect the idea. See, I'm not usually just there going, who said this and what did that and stuff. I'm going, fuck, no, that makes perfect sense. Let me see if anybody else knows about this. And I'll go and push it in the thought that I'm having, and then read and read and read until finally someone's having that thought. And then I can connect with that person and then have a deeper discussion on what's going on and maybe get led to some book references or somewhere where they're, getting other people that are having this thought. And that's exactly how I found all this. This shit, that's why I'm so fucking incredibly amazed. When I was a little kid, I used to think that this was what it is, like what I'm saying now. It's not really changed. I thought we were a chemical reaction and we're looking at the atoms and electrons. That was my first fucking model in school, was the atom, right? I mean, the solar system. I got the wooden dowels and the styrofoam balls and all that, and I made our solar system, right? It was pretty cool. And then the next science project, I just took a couple of those off, left two, oxygen molecules, and made like two solar systems out of the same thing, and said, look, there's H2O molecule out of my solar system. You see what I mean? I cheated, but my idea, the teacher was like, actually gave me a lower grade because they, oh, you just used the same project, because I did it right in front of her. I goes like this, done. I just didn't want to do the project at home because I already had all the stuff here to do it with. I can't afford to be buying it all over again. So I came back to the school, did my project in 2 minutes, made my fucking water molecule out of my solar system, and then got a B instead of an A because, I did it too fast or whatever. But it doesn't matter. I should have got a motherfucking double A. If you thought about what I was doing, I was connecting a correlation that motherfuckers weren't even thinking about at my age. Nowhere near it. Nowhere fucking near it, man. I already wrote a short story called The Pebble in the Shoe. That was about a pebble, we being a pebble in the shoe of a creature, our whole universe, a pebble in the shoe of a creature beyond whatever sizes we can ever imagine. I was thinking that way, dude, back then. So, look, man, I haven't really been on the off.
Well, dude, it seems a lot like I think a lot like that too. My whole thing was like a sponge in the past when I was younger, and it's like basically the whole thing was like we're inside of a sponge, like this is what I thought when I was a kid. Inside, like your pebble in the shoe is similar to my sponge in the water, because this sponge is inside of a water, and the water would represent like a different type of space. Like space is like a different type of water.
Oh, I'm following you, dude. As soon as you said with the sponge in the water, I followed you.
You got me. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, we're on the same like wavelength there, it seems.
Yeah, and the wavelength is there for a reason. That's us tapping into our real nature, our real knowledge, the things before the words come. The words are nothing, man. I wish I could point this out. Like, if I'm sitting in a room with my family, especially my Uncle Steve, before his accident, we didn't use words. We didn't have to use words. We'd have whole fucking sessions. We'd start working on something together. It'd be like this. All right, yeah. And then we jump up, grab the tools we need. We know what we got to do. We're already connected. It's weird, man. This is how it is. It's supposed to be. I found my Uncle Steve in Tennessee. Ask any of my family. He was fucked up in Tennessee, lost the car, got busted, and the cops pulled him over, and he had no driver's license. So before the fucking tow truck could come and like take away the car and they were going to keep it, he smashed it all up because, he's just crazy like that. He smashed the car up before they could get anything out of it. Anyway, he gave me a phone call. It didn't have the address, didn't have anything, and said, I'm at an exit. I don't even know which exit it is. It's about the 4th or 5th one in or something from the state line, dude. Can you find me? And I took off and found him. And he wasn't, dude, at a gas station or anything. He's at the house by the car. He's like, I don't know exactly where I'm at, man, but I'm like 2 blocks off of the exit. The car is where I got pulled over. So I had to go out to Tennessee from Florida, all right, in a fucking 76 Volare looking for him. And I found him. I mean, the first exit I got off of, he was there. And it wasn't just like 2 blocks. It was like take a right, take a left, and then come back up and towards the fucking exit again. And there he was. So it was like, how the fuck do you do that type of shit? You know what I mean? You have to be connected. You're tuning. And the whole time I'm like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Left. It's real. So we used to also do that, like we used to do that all types of shit, man. Really crazy. Where's the car at? We would look for vehicles because we used to, salvage vehicles and shit when I was younger. Look for vehicles parked in people's yards that are, growing out of them or whatever. Cars or like saplings growing up through them and out of the bumpers or whatever. Walk up into the person's yard and go, "What kind of car you growing there?" Sitting there doing nothing. How about we get that shit out of your yard for you, and mow the lawn, get the car out of the yard. And back in the day, people would just give you shit, like that. If you wanted to help them out, get rid of it, all that. So that was the Volare I got. Slant 6, 76 Volare. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, right? If you make the reason, I guess.
Yeah, and that reason has to be based on choice. I think to add on everything happens to a reason, it's all part of it.
Yeah, but don't take it wrong. I'm not saying everything happens for like somebody's designed reason. There's everything has a reason for happening. There's a cause. Everything has a cause.
Cause and effect.
Right. Not that everything has a pre-written destiny. That's the idea people take when I say that, and that's not my idea of what it is at all.
I agree with you. That's not my idea either. I don't necessarily believe in destiny. I'll put it on the list, but I don't. It's pretty low on the list.
Yeah, it's better to have ideas than beliefs anyway, right? Beliefs turn into fanatical shit.
Although they're trying to shut that down, they want us to not have ideas anymore.
See, I don't even accept that thought. You know what I mean? How do you even?
Well,
that's why it's so easy for me to stay on track.
Ideology. You can't have ideology. We're gonna come against you if you have an ideology. Against us. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
That's why I like taking their own books and using them right to them. Look, I found your seventh seal. Here it is. It's cosmology and shit. Here it is. Simple as that. I found your sixth seal. Here it is. That's the fucking the brainwashing. That's the people that are standing around on the sixth seal are the ones teaching the the lower levels how to be good slaves. It's hard to explain. 7 seals and the information.
That's interesting. What are the rest of the seals?
I don't know. I just know the 7th one is cosmology because that's what unravels all the fucking connects everybody together and busts them all. It busted it all out. You know what I mean? And that was the one that was going to do that. When we get into the information age and we start realizing it's because it happens all the time. This book was rewritten and rewritten and rewritten, but still, it happens all the time. Like, just because we only think in terms of,
But in that theology, isn't it Jesus that opens that seal? Like on the
and who's Jesus?
Revelations?
And who is Jesus? That's my point. Their idea of Jesus. First off, the 7th seal completely shows you that Jesus is just Mithras, is just Indras, is just Buddha, is just the sun.
Yeah, rewrites the same story over and over again.
It's just the sun. And before it was Saturn, and before it was Sirius, Horus, Osiris. Okay? This is the ages of what we've been dealing with in our solar system, what's been ruling our skies, and there's been different rulers of our skies, and they get personified as planets, and that's when a trick starts happening. But and as long as we never know out loud what our whole thing was and what all, they can keep using all this stuff against us. So as soon as you break through and get to know that, Saturn's not a mysterious boogeyman, it's the planet, and it was doing different things, and we looked at it, there was an actual pyramid in the middle of it. When Mars sat in the side like this, it was an electrical plasma discharge. See that triangle? That happens naturally in electrical plasma discharges. You guys don't understand this stuff. That's a pyramid, the shape. Those hourglass shapes, the one that looked like the little man in the cave with his legs going out like this, and it looks like a little hourglass, right? The little head on it. That too is a plasma discharge. The hands and Nazca lines, the hands, those are plasma discharges. They duplicate this shit. You see them in the fucking laboratory. I mean, the Thunderbolts project will blow your fucking mind. The the universal crown kingdom symbol, like, you know, Quasicolton with the circle with all the little spikes going around it, you know, these are plasma discharges. I mean, they show you the plasma discharges.
Yeah, but essentially that's all just vibration.
Right, through the word, everything is created. Like I said, the book is not fairy tales and nonsense. The book is all science. It has nothing to do with being a slave and listening to your slave masters. They wrote that in for extra. That's just the part about you being able to understand titleship and error. Okay, errors. You know, the owners of something after the next one goes and the next one comes in and owns it, and you never get it back. That's the trick. You get it rationalized into that. God owns everything in the universe. He created it all. Therefore, the rationalism is that he owns it all. He created it all. It's all his until, you know, he gives you a piece. But then his son comes down. Now, his son, it's just his planet. He owns this shit. Well, he's going to go away for a little while, so he's going to appoint somebody to own all this shit for him while he's gone. That's why the Pope says he's the ruler of King of Kings and you're all this shit, you know. He's the everything of everybody, all that. That's what they really think they are. So yeah, ipso facto, he owns and rules everything until, you know, the guy comes back. He's coming back, you know. Yeah, comes back every night and every day and every night and every day, you know, day and night. Set horse, night day. You know, cross on the Jesus on the cross. That's the cross of Zodiac, man. It's the Zodiac. When it's upside down, it's when the sun is in the opposite season. It's the right side up, it's in the right season. Antichrist, uppity Christ. Antichrist, uppity Christ. There's not no boogeyman shit, you know. Set.
What about the connection to Nibiru's crossing every 3,600 years?
Sinister means left. Dextra means right. You get the word from sin from sinister, left. The precession of the star movements go to the left when you want to see the age. But the sun, I mean, and during the day, the sun passes it through the right when you want to tell time. So there's the perception of the things that people are looking at are getting personified and boogeyman in different situations. So they turn knowledge that'll keep you smart into boogeyman shit. The tree of knowledge makes you evil. Get it? They don't want you being smart. It has a lot to do with the sine wave. It has a lot to do with, you know, the equinox. It has a lot to do with all of this fun stuff. It's what this is. Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, they're all seasons of the sun. They're not real writers or authors in this book. That's why nobody can find anything about them personally anywhere, because they don't exist. They're seasons of the sun. When the sun is in the different, you know, ages. It's really kind of simple. You got to learn the science first in order to do the synchronizing of the sciences through correlations found in ancient texts. That's what I'm saying. And I'm still learning the sciences, but I've learned so much of them already that I'm seeing all of these correlations that are not just like a crazy person sees correlations, but, you know, verbatim correlations. You know, verbatim, extremely coincidental. You can't win the lottery 10 times a day for a month straight. You know what I mean? It's just the odds aren't there. So.
Yeah.
Phone call. Yeah, so yeah, the Thunderbolts project, really fun stuff. I know dude doesn't want to hear it. A lot of people got problems with that shit. And yeah, I know that. There's no other way to tell it to people. If I try to be nice with this information, they still don't listen. So, you know, when I tell them the way I do, then they're either going to have to shit on their own head and walk away from it as if it's not real at all, or get mad and go try and debunk me and then find out that I'm telling the truth. And so I'd rather do that. I'd rather them get mad and go try to debunk me, because then they'll spend way more time on the information than if I was just being nice to them. You see the trick? Now go get mad and try to debunk it. Giggity. You get them invites out yet, man? I don't have one. Or do I? Wait, I might have yelled that out wrong. I didn't refresh my page. Nope, I gotta see through the fear porn Friday though.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's just busy.
Oh, okay.
He's typing away, trying to send.
Yeah, that's a lot of interesting information, and I have a essentially archive, so I can always go back and listen like more deeply. And
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna probably check out that stuff you're talking about, and then we'll have like
Thank
a
you.
debatable conversation in the future.
If you want to even try. Yeah, you might not. Ask a lot of people who said that same thing. They come
Well,
back
I
and go,
agree with you on a
oh
lot of
my
fronts,
God.
so
Matter
it's
of
like
fact,
it's hard
Giggity's
to
one of them.
debate with you, but
Actually, Giggity had a hard time. Actually, not a hard time, but he was like, are you fucking serious? You said a lot of shit, dude. I'm going to go check
my
this.
friend
He came back like, yeah.
probably debate with you.
Yeah, I don't need to debate with anybody. I need them to go and look at the information. It's not my information to debate. You
Yeah,
understand what I
that's what
mean?
I'm talking about. But once you have the same information, you're able
I
to.
don't have the same information. I'm a chicken scratch on their iceberg of information. I'd be insulting them to debate someone in their honor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can still
Yeah.
give the
Nah,
information so that
exactly.
somebody
I
else
do
can
that. I
debate it.
point to them. You want to debate? Call Wall Thornhill and debate him. See how you fare on that one, because he's the one who has this information. Dave Talbot, Steve Crothers. Go debate those three guys and see how you fare. Debate me. I'm a stoner. They're not stoners, dude, and this is their life's work. I'm just catching on to their life's work and trying to show you that they're there. Look at these guys doing this, and then I try to explain to you the best I can, and using layman's terms is the best I can to give the information to excite you into looking into that information. You'd be surprised at how many people have no idea that the actual standard model of science altogether is being rewritten right now as we speak. For real, happening. Big news, guys. This
Yeah,
isn't a
but
joke.
you seem very passionate about it. How come you care so much?
Because it's all connected to the thing that is stopping humanity from arising. The knowledge. If you don't have this knowledge, you can't make the correlations that prove all the religions are fake and to rule us. So that's very passionate. Then you can prove from there that they're also doing other things to coal us. That once you can prove that the biggest conspiracy the world has ever seen is real, and it's really happened, then we can start changing the entire world. That is the common denominator. That is the fundamental basis of all fuckery. Right there. The rationale behind those religions and shit. Owners and titleship and rulers and kings and garbage. It's all garbage, brother. And then we don't know how old we are because we're millions of years old. They don't want us to know that. So it really tells a long story. Once you can see that the implications involved, look, the creation theory. It's no longer a fucking theory. You have to go and look at what these guys are doing in Thunderbolts Project, man. I mean, it's not just like one or two guys. It is a workshop of scientists, physicists, mathematicians, philosophers. It is a real workshop of people who have been doing this their whole life. Not people like me, a painter, a neon sign mechanic. You're not getting a YouTuber. No, it's nothing like that at all. This is totally different. They actually go and they teach other professors how to teach their students properly because they've been indoctrinated into the bullshit of, E equals MC squared. And they already figured out that it's not true. But to get
Well, I have
everybody
them on my circles and whatnot, so I'm gonna check
do
them
more
out.
than that. Start with their videos. I mean, I've watched every one of them, dude, and some of them more than once. That's hours and hours. That's thousands of hours, bro. So you got to know I'm coming from a little different perspective as far as I didn't just peel up in one of their videos the other day or something like that. It's been years I've been on these people.
And they source their information?
Of course. Of course. They do way more than that. Dude, they're going to blow your mind. They're going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Lost Horizon, she's a physicist. She's 60. I don't know if she's actively practicing, but she understands a lot of the math, and she's been in there dealing with the math, trying to see what's going on, and it's blowing her fucking mind, dude. I'm a neon sign mechanic. That means I do high voltage secondary electricity. Yes, I know a lot of shit about math and equations and shit, but I'm not a mathematician. You know, I know about voltages and, you know, fucking frictions and, you know, all the amazing fun stuff that you can do on secondary, you know, midpoint grounding. You know, I know about the neon, the argon. If you have to put mercury in it. You know, it's like I understand physics to a large degree. You know, I work on neon manifolds. You know, when you pump and bombard gases into a vacuum and then electrically bombard it with 20,000 volts to clear out the impurities. You know what I'm saying? Then you leak neon gas into the vacuum, so it's still under a vacuum, but it's got neon gas in it as well. So it's you know, negative pressure. That's how you do this type of shit. Make neon lights and shit. It's not like you just screw on the end of a light bulb or something. You know, you're welding glass tubulations with a tube in your mouth to keep pressure and a Canon ribbon burner. You know, welding the electrodes onto the end of the tubes. I mean, it's not like a little kid game. You have to have a basic understanding of physics and, you know, gases, pressures, vacuums. You know, I was doing this at 17 years old, man. It took 6 hours for me to successfully learn how to pump and bombard neon, and it's a 6-week program. All right, I was dating the daughter of the people who owned the neon shop.
I've seen that before. That's pretty cool. It doesn't look like an easy job at all.
No, and my first tube was after about 6 hours of studying, watching the owner and just talking to him, bullshitting with him while he's showing me and doing it. You know.
Do you ever make a neon pipe?
Yeah, dude, I was a kid when I did. Remember? Of course, I was using that tubes to make all kinds of pipes out of the neon tubes. You know. Not glow in the dark neon pipes, none of that bullshit. You don't want to put high voltage anywhere near your mouth. You know, 15,000 volts, 9,000 volts. It's only 30 milliamps, but still it'll burn a hole in your lip. So yeah, neon signs, man, it did it all over the world. I mean, the country, the world. Fun stuff. So yeah, make a long story short, yeah, I know a little bit about a little bit. I'm a quick learner. So what about you? What you got going on here?
Just doing a presentation on Saturn, like, or basically explaining or kind of showing my presentation and actually talking. Because like before, I didn't talk, you know,
Well,
just had music.
Hey, you got another window open? You can run a search real quick.
A search? What did you want me to search for?
Discourses of an Alien Sky When Saturn Ruled the World.
Is that a video or a...
Yeah.
Okay. So,
it's a quick one too, so it's, I mean, I don't know, it might not be quick. Let me take that back. Yeah, I guess one of my one of our buddies was having a show yesterday, and I didn't even know. I forgot to refollow him after we made back up.
Thunderbolts, here it is. Just the first one?
No. When Saturn ruled the world, the fourth one.
And Saturn ruled the world. Okay.
This will help you with foundation of some of the understanding, because you're going to see a lot of these symbolisms.
Do I need to turn it up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't even hear it. Oh, you know what? It doesn't. Is it playing out on your speaker for everybody? Because you might have to pick it up with your microphone, like I do.
Oh, yeah. I can't do that at the moment because I'm not like.
Oh, that's all right. I can do it later. I'll screen share after you're done with your presentation. I'll wait with you.
Okay.
I was gonna do something, but I got the phone call. That was what I was looking at my phone for, and I don't have to do it right now. So that's awesome. I got about 40 more minutes to fuck around.
Okay.
Or you know what I mean, not fuck around, but learn here. Look at this stuff.
Okay, so basically this is the, what do you call it? The interpretation
Yeah,
from,
Chronos. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're saying karma. They call it Chronos. That's what it has to do with
Chronos.
time.
Yeah, Chronos comes later on this certain thing. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
Saturn is easy to do. Oh yeah, Saturn will older people to start working and work hard. So this is the interpretation of basically the astrological version of Saturn. Because I was trying to get like, what are all the different things out there? As doing this, I
I stay
realized that they're all
I stay
connected.
out of it. Yeah, I stay out of the that part of it, this astrology with the what the planet's telling you to do thing, because then that is the stepping stone into the bullshit. Planet
Yeah,
is not
agreed.
telling you
But
what to
I
do.
had to put it in there in order to show that it
Cosmology.
exists.
Hey, yeah, you're right. But cosmology is what you want to be studying. That's the science of what we're seeing in observations with no, they're not bringing you into any assumptions and things like that, like they do with that astronomy. You know, astrotheology. You know what I mean?
So these are the sources that led me into like going back in time, like looking
Mhm.
to the past. Because I was like wondering,
There's
like,
the
why do the
sickle. Yeah.
cults worship Saturn? What's the big deal?
See the sickle? Yep.
And I also put all of the where I got them from everywhere. So you
Cool.
can go find your own research. You can go continue this research further.
Right on.
Do you
Yeah,
have anything to add on that?
I sure do. I'm about to in just a second. I forgot to look for the video. I was just fixing a screen share for us. So, uh,
Okay, and then this
real quick.
continues that. This is like a different area, but telling you a similar story.
Oh, okay. Pardon me.
This is another information associated with the agriculture, the civilization, and government. I wanted to focus on things that had to do with, like the government associated with Saturn. How is that relation? Where is the relation? Because I knew that there was the correlation with the ruling of the courts. Like when you go to court, you have to deal with maritime martial law or marital. This the law of the sea, basically. I can't
Yep.
remember the name.
So, do you correlate Mary and Mary time with Mary and Jesus?
No,
Yeah.
not me. I
All right.
don't.
Listen.
Maybe you.
Mary. Jesus came from Mary, right? Jesus is the sun. Mary is the sea, dude. The,
It
the,
makes
sea, the
sense.
sun rises out of the east, out of the sea.
Yeah,
From their
that
point of
totally
view.
makes sense. But why do we have the law? Why do we
Because
focus on
that's
that?
secondary. That's when they take the difference and drive it to your brain. The law. What is the law
Yeah, what is
about it?
the law?
Right. What
It's
is
a good
rule?
question.
What is rule? You know what I mean? Yeah, those are the questions that we need to ask. The law is supposed to be only written if there's a crime happening to create a victim. That's why we originally created the law. If there's a victim, then there's a crime. See, now we have legislation that creates crimes with no victims all over the place. Because you're sinners. You're already in the idea that you're bad as soon as you're born, and somebody needs to be your father, and you're always in an eternal state of adolescence. And this is the joke, the trick, man. We're really. I run my own shit.
Saturnalia.
If I say fuck y'all, I run my own shit, then somehow I'm a threat.
So the
To you.
connection to Saturnalia here, for
It's all different.
basically
Yeah, I don't do
Christmas.
that. You see what I mean? It's angles and prisms, dude, because you can get up into what's all the connection to this and that, and you never look into.
Well, I'm all about connecting the dots. It's like my understanding of this whole New World Order research seems to be
How
like
old are you?
connected to
How old are
other
you?
things. So I kind of pan back and then look at it from a
Hold
distance.
on. Let me point something out for you. How old are you?
I'm like 36.
Okay. How many lifetimes do you get?
What, this time?
How many lifetimes are you going to be able to remember that you know of right now?
I
And
already remember lifetimes from other lives in my own
come on,
understanding.
man. Me and you, look at this. Look, I'm talking to me. I'm talking to you right now. All right. You get one life right now. The one time to try to figure this shit out. You're
Well,
not
I
going to be able.
consider it like a
Listen,
window.
my point is, you're not going to be able to write a note and leave it somewhere, come back and get the note when your next life comes. So you won't be able to take any of this information with you. Like, you can say all the stuff you want, but in reality,
Speculative.
you're not
It's
going to be able to do any of that. So my point is, you get one life. They know this. They know you get one life. They know you get to remember one at a time anyway. Whatever the mysterious thing you want to think. One life, one remembrance. Except, now, think about it. They've already been at this for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. They've got so many dots for you to go connect that you don't have enough lifetimes to go connect all those dots. So the idea behind this is, my perspective, cut the dots out of the fucking way. Find common denominators that link them together. That way we don't have to go all day, all year to the next stupid dot. Oh, all day, all year. And because there's too many dots, dude. They're there on purpose. I call it the angles and the prisms. And you get caught into this, I'm just connecting dots. It sounds wonderful, but that means you're just running around in circles because they make circles for you to run around in, dude.
Yeah, but I think it's just part of the research.
That's my point. You can
You
think
have to find the
for another
sources.
10 years if you want. And that's what I'm trying to show you, the sources. This is exactly what I'm trying to show you. The sources, the real sources, the sources of where all this information came from. Then you will understand what all this other stuff without all this trying to figure it out. You'll be able to go, deity, read, time. He was beloved to the deity and to just agriculture and civilization and government. He carried a sickle and a symbol. And da 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 da. Oh, look at that. That's what they call Saturn. It was because when Saturn was in a specific time, you knew that you were supposed to hide your seeds or plant, all this kind of stuff. You understand that there was a different logic behind it. But until then, you won't. Until you know where Saturn
Yeah,
even
but then
was back when
I
they
originally was going through this, I didn't
until you
realize
even know.
that we were in a different location,
Right, that's what I
and that we
mean.
were
Until
going
you even know
around
what
Saturn.
Saturn was, that's what I mean. It's so tricky, and it's like it's so. But then it's not. It's so tricky if you just walk into all the angles and prisms. Yeah, you're gonna be there. Like think of it like this: you're walking into different reflections of light, just going all over your face at the same time, coming from everywhere. You don't know what to do. You follow one, and it connects to another fucking prism of light, and it's all over the place. And they created all that for this very reason. So stand outside the crystal and look at who's holding the crystal for you to walk into. That's all I'm doing. That way I don't get caught up in staring into the beautiful tiny prisms. You know what I mean? Get caught. And everybody I talk to, until they look into this shit, they think I'm just coming in and shitting on their whole life's work. And I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm trying to save you from shitting on your own time anymore, because I need your help in this fight. You know what I mean? Of truth and knowledge. I need your help. And so to get you even start on the track where I'm looking at is important to me, because I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those ones that says something and it's not real. There's a million of them out there. I know. They discredit me. They make me look bad. They're here. I know that. But I'm not one of them. It's hard to point that out. It's like, oh, how do you tell somebody that you're not one of the dummies when you don't, talk and speak more respectfully and calm, And it's like, I don't keep my shit together. Well, I actually have a lot of emotional, shit embedded into this, vetted into this. So it's a little different from me. I'm not here just to try and make money or sell a YouTube item or just have you buy my book. I'm not here for that, because if I was, I would try to appeal to people on a more broad spectrum. Right now, I'm only appealing to the most intelligent of us. They could, because the other people can't recognize I'm intelligent because of my demeanor. If I'm talking about something amazing, and how would you know if you don't know what amazing is? You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me figure this. Let me show you this. If you can. If you can present this for a second. to everyone. Does that work? Are you able to do that? I'm gonna put the microphone on it. That way you can hear it from my end. This is that video. Is your mic on?
You've just entered the theater of an alien sky. If the words and images seem strange to you, there's a reason for this. Our world was once a vastly different place. To experience this won't hurt you, and there is nothing to fear. The gas giant.
What's going on?
Fucking bros. My flash player. The whole thing's frozen. Everything, my computer.
Screw gold.
There we go. Now I can work it.
You've just entered the theater of an alien sky. If the words and images seem strange to you, there's a reason for this. Our world was once a vastly different place. To experience this won't hurt you, and there is nothing to fear.
Is it too loud? Is it too loud?
The gas giant Saturn. It's the outermost planet visible to the naked eye, moving on an orbit almost 900 million miles from the sun. For those untrained in finding planets in the night sky, it could hardly be said that Saturn stands out amongst its starry companions. This lack of distinction underscores an unsolved mystery. Where did all of the extravagant images attached to this distant speck in the sky come from? The story of Saturn as creator. Saturn presiding over a lost golden age. Saturn as a primeval sun. Saturn's preposterous location at the celestial pole around which the heavens visually turn. Saturn is the founding father of kings. And Saturn is dying or displaced God. In due course, we'll take up the gods' connection to an immense crescent, seen as a scythe or sickle turning in the sky. So too the cosmic mountain from which Saturn was said to have once ruled the world. And the planet God's role as divine ancestor of different nations, all recounting the same core idea. The mysteries will quickly overwhelm a researcher the moment he asks the present sky to explain the ancient themes. In fact, many scholars simply walked away from the dilemma. Here's the dilemma in a nutshell. The myths appear to be much older than any recorded observations of planets. The first flowering of the monumental civilizations occurred in an environment of myth and magic. There are no lists of planets, no diaries of planetary motions. The celebrated gods do not look at all like the planets we know so well today. So most scholars simply state that planetary behavior could not have provoked any of the great myths. The attachment of myths to planets must have come much later, perhaps in the first millennium BC. Our message, however, is that a radically different planetary arrangement prevailed in an earlier time. Planets, not in their present orbits, but
Lost your sound, Grim.
This includes the fact that the astronomer priests themselves, in recording the tranquil and predictable motions of planets in later times, named these bodies explicitly as the great gods of the primeval epoch. And that's the heart of the dilemma. Why does the behavior of these most venerated gods so boldly contradict all observations of the named planets today? By working with the points of cross-cultural agreement, we'll see that the astronomical images of Saturn connect theme by theme with an archaic story told around the world, told long after most cultures had lost track of any planetary connections. The story says that in a former time, a central luminary, a motionless sun, turned as a great wheel in the sky. But why an identification with the planet Saturn? It's said that this ancient power, the father of kings, presided over an age of natural abundance and cosmic harmony. But this story, in its countless variations, does not end well. It states that the world fell into confusion when the ruling god fled the theater or tumbled from his appointed station. Then the hordes of chaos were set loose, and all of creation slipped into a cosmic night, the gods themselves battling furiously in the heavens, the clash of the titans. In the well-known Greek tradition, this was the story of the displaced god Kronos, the father of kings. Kronos was the Greek name for the planet Saturn. And yet, enigmatically, the same planet was also named Helios, the sun, a fact that has perplexed classical scholars for a century and a half. The shadow cast by Saturn reached across the millennia. Even today, our language retains the age-old cultural ambivalence toward this most ancient god. The word Saturnian expresses the splendor of the Golden Age, while the word Saturnine reflects the melancholy of paradise lost. Guesses as to explanations will never work, but an explanation based on systematic cross-cultural investigation will work, allowing a global story to mean what it says, even if that requires a measure of patience as verifiable pieces come one by one into a coherent picture of the ancient sky.
Oh shit, let me stop it. Sorry.
All right, that was pretty good. So, welcome in, Maddie.
Right on.
Say anything?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Maddie, how you doing?
Nice to have you.
Bro, how you doing, man?
Fucking chilling, man. Just rolling them jokes out. Did you see that?
Yeah, I just
free
jumped
bike?
in. I was on the site, but I just jumped in. I was just checking notifications, and I saw the message from Fear Porn. So I was like, let me check it out. I didn't see the name. I was like, I didn't know the avatar at first. I was just listening to what was going on. Then I saw it was Grim on the side. I was like, oh shit.
Like, this
You
guy's
changed
starting
that?
to sound crazy, man. I know him from somewhere. Crazy guy here talking about this shit going like this.
Yo, bro, I've been meaning to thank you, man, with the silver shit.
Oh, hell
Yo,
yeah.
after I put that shit on my dog, the third morning, like by the second day, all the redness was totally gone, like immediately. Second day, I was like looking at it. Third day, I'm looking. I'm like, yo, I see little black dots. I'm like, yo, the hair follicles started pushing right through, man. She's healing so fast now.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
no
like
problem.
a teaspoon a
It's just
day.
bacteria. It's just bacteria, man, and that shit kills all of that shit. Easy. Poof.
Yep. I'm still waiting for my silver rods, bro. What's up?
Okay. I put it in my milk too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it keeps it longer. It keeps it from going bad. It doesn't allow it to curdle at all.
How do you
So that's-
store? How do you store? You just use mason jars and just keep it out of the sun and
Only
shit.
glass. Yeah, only glass in the dark, like wine.
Like so, like in a cup. All right, gotcha. Yeah, I'm waiting, bro. I got my batteries and my cables, of course, bro. I always have those things. I'm like, just waiting for it. The rods. Just waiting for the rods.
Yeah, boy. Waiting for the magic rods.
Oh yeah, dude. Can't wait to do it.
About time to make some more, isn't it? Shit, we're making some right now.
My sister actually, she saw how fast it was healing my dog, and then she had like she had a cyst on her cheek that she actually popped, and she was like, "What was that stuff? Which one in the cabinet is it?" And I was like, "The colloidal silver." So I gave it to her. She said even when she just dabbed it on it, she was like, "Yeah, it's not like rubbing alcohol feeling, but you felt something was working." She said. So
Oh, yeah.
she was taking it. It went down like the red went down like by the morning it was like half the size, but
Yeah.
she stopped
all
taking
bacteria.
it.
That's all that shit is, man. Any kind of bacteria. It's so crazy. I mean, I don't know how to express it. Like, I use it on my sponges. You know how you got a sponge? You just don't
told
want
her about that. I told her about that too.
you don't want to buy another fucking sponge, and you can't even touch this one. It so stinks. You're like, fuck, why did I leave it in the water, you know?
Dude, I got like 3 friends that are waiting for me to get it and start making it.
There you go, man. Shit, there you go.
I told them I'll just give it to you.
Yeah,
I'm
I can't
gonna
even.
hit you up
I
when I
would never sell it. Yeah,
I'm
I was
make
giving
sure
it
I
away.
do. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm sorry, you were right. I was just agreeing with you. Always give that shit away. Fuck selling it.
Oh no, I wouldn't sell it. No, that's why when I asked you, I was like, "That's awesome that you give it away, bro. That's awesome." When you said, because like, dude, because when you break down the price, how much you make it for, the bottles that they sell you online for like $20-$25 is less than like a penny. You
Way
can make,
less.
you know what? It's like, why would I charge people for that shit? I would be like, here, just take that shit.
Yeah, man, that's the way you do it. Give it away.
I give it to people. That'd be awesome, bro. No, but I get it though, and I
It's so
set it up.
cool. I love those. I love those testimonials when people come back and tell me, man. I really appreciate that. I want to tell you that.
Dude, that's why I said I didn't want to say in the comment. I want it live. You hear it, bro? I'm telling you, man. That shit fucking works. I was telling it's about perception. He was actually mentioning colloidal silver, and I told him about you. I was like, yo, I have it. He told me put it on my dog. Yo, no lie. After 2 days, started healing, and it's like all the hairs are just growing in now. It's just growing in. But I still give it to her. Like I give her some. I give her like a milliliter of it, and I just put some on her side. Just dab it on a little bit and just let it air dry. As long as the other dog doesn't lick it, it's fine.
Yeah, even if she licks it, it doesn't matter.
No, I know, but he'll lick it. He keeps licking. He's excessive.
You got to get a little on their tongue anyway, because they're gonna lick it anyway.
No, the dog that it's on, she can't lick it. It's the other dog that's licking it all up.
Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, which adds to the bacteria too.
Yeah, yep. Hair loss too, bro.
Yeah.
I'll take it off, bro. So I just stop him. But I give him some too. I've been giving him some too, just internally, just keep him going good too. Dude, they're outside. Dude, they're outside running around like crazy.
I'm happy, dude. That makes me feel good. That's the kind of shit I want to hear. You know.
Dude, I talked about you like I know you, bro. I was like, this guy, yeah, his name is Mr. Graham online, man. I don't know his real name, but yo, I was like, you're telling me about the silver shit. You know, I was like, I want to freaking make it. Everybody was like, what, really? I'm like, yeah, he puts it in his armpits, everything. My girlfriend, she was like this. She goes, oh, good, maybe it'll work at my feet. I was like, oh, man, you fucking just killed it. I was like, you killed it. Because her feet do stink.
Yeah. You're on live air, man. Stop that shit. I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious.
So what are you guys talking about?
Bro? Well, you thought the
We're
fucking
talking
feds were
about
bad.
Saturn today, and its you know, implications on basically the science of it more so than the kind of esoteric nature. And I was kind of doing a presentation, and he was looking at it, and he was like, "I got one for you to see." So he showed me that one. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a pretty good presentation, uh, more visual, you know, and it had similar information that I've come across, so I understood it. But again, Grim, that's what it was like. It was like connecting the dots. It showed connecting the dots in this kind of flowy manner, and that's what I'm about too. I have all the dots in my flowcharts connected, but I don't know how to present them, so I'm just kind of trying to figure out different ways to bring it out there and show people. So I noticed that people were on the chat this time, and I've been kind of going through it. It's like the first time that I've had a chat, so it's interesting. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the chat once. I didn't even realize you had a chat.
It's funny, right?
I don't even have the feed, bro. I just saw your message and just jumped in. I don't even have it open.
It's on the YouTube area. But anyway, so I've just been kind of going through that as you've been talking, and people kind of, they're actually talking about what you were talking about, kind of referencing stuff and going back and forth, and kind of getting in arguments with each other, it seems. It's funny. But I don't know who these people are. I haven't seen them before. So,
Let's
welcome,
see. I'll tell you.
chat people. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, chat. Let's see who they are.
Thanks for coming on.
I'm still loading, so.
And if you ever want to come on.
Oh, yeah, hell of a lot of people I know here. Nice. Hell Wars, what's up, brother?
Yeah, it's got Hell Wars too.
Oh yeah, they're good. It's
oh yeah, I like Hell Wars.
you.
I don't know who these people are. I haven't seen them before.
Yeah, we got Hell Wars. We got Jovan.
I'll tell you. Chat people, welcome to the podcast.
Oh yeah. Let me pause me here. Sorry about that.
That's you. Okay.
Sorry.
So. Anyway,
no, they're not arguing. They're not arguing. It doesn't look like an argument to me, dude. You gotta read that differently.
It was like right at the beginning. I'm like in the middle now. It looks like it leveled out.
Yeah. I only started that towards the end.
It was
like,
more like debating, not really arguing.
Yeah, Hell Wars news smack self in forehead. No.
So it's interesting though. I've never seen this. You know, this is new to me.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have like you know, if you can do a longer video, you're gonna have like thousands of comments if you can, you know, and they're kind of fun to read through on your show too. Adds to the chemistry for the people on the chat. They like it, you know. How you doing, Hell Wars? How you doing, DRH 5-in-1? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It adds
Joven Trendmaker.
Yeah,
Jay
and these
Lee.
people are with. I go to where they're at a lot, so I see them all the time too. So they're familiar faces.
I'm not saying that name. Paper.
Bag Paper, are you in there?
Yeah, he's in earlier.
Hey, Jay Lee, how's it going?
Yeah, so shout outs to all you people. And yeah, so Maddie D, did you get any of that information on Saturn? Did it help you?
Yeah, I just joined up. I looked at like two things. Then I didn't have time, bro. Because like a lot of times when I do it, I'm at work. Because when I come home, I'm doing like my research stuff for like my report stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to look at it. I'm trying to follow a lot of it. And then I got so many notifications to go through too, bro. I'm like, so I have so much shit. I have like 50 notifications now too. But yeah, the Saturn stuff, I wanted to actually hear it. I wanted to hear you actually tell me about it. That I asked you to hold off while I went outside and burned one. The first time you invited me in, but then I had to go and you had to go too. I don't know if you could just give me like that run that you wanted to tell me that day. That'd be awesome. I'll listen to you.
Okay. let's see. Yeah, it was a story between like 3 stories or something. Like that story about Pandora's box, for instance. There's the story of Nibiru with the Anunnaki and all that, with Zachariah Ascension and the transliterations of the cuneiform, and then there's the Greek story of the Zeus like defeating Kronos, right? So you put all those stories together and you realize it's really a kind of metaphoric representation of an actual event that happened back when the universe was being created and stars were crashing against each other and pushing against other areas, and planets were moving into solar systems, like away from their own solar systems because they're getting pushed. So in that formation, there's another planet that comes in and out of what our solar system's considered. At the time, it was considered a. Oh, we have somebody singing in the background. um, we have it's a comes in every 3,600 years, and it goes in between Mars and Jupiter. And where Mars and Jupiter is now is the asteroid belt. You have to think, before the asteroid belt was there had to have been something that created that asteroid belt. And this story kind of creates that idea, because when Nibiru comes around, it has 4 moons, and it goes around the planet over like several speeds, like bullet speeds. So once it actually goes in between Mars and Jupiter, and there's a planet lying in between Mars and Jupiter, there's a cataclysm that happens, and basically the moons of Nibiru hit what was called Tiamat back then, which essentially is Earth Mach 1, gets cut in half. Half of it goes out into the planetary spatial area, gets pushed basically from the impact, and then the rest of it stays in place and gets hit over and over and over again by the moons of Nibiru. So the other half that kind of is still whole, like a half of a piece, but it's not in pieces, it's all together. It goes out into space, gets pushed into other orbits of other planetary surfaces at the time, and then kind of flows around, getting pulled by the gravitational pull until it ends up around Sol, where it currently is, as the 3rd planet. And then over time, that would mold into Earth Mach 2, what we consider Earth now. The original planetary surface that gets getting hit over and over again by the moons of Nibiru would get smaller and smaller until eventually it became little pieces and bigger pieces. Essentially, there would be both kind of stuck in a kind of quasi area of that, like the tail gravitational pull of that planet. So therefore, that's what we consider the asteroid belt. And now Saturn was over in that area essentially at the same time, but it would get kind of pulled by other planetary surfaces. Originally, according to the philosophy, it was Uranus, right? That was the father of Kronos. So Uranus would have been what Saturn was originally revolving around at the time when we call this the Golden Age. It would have been a star, as we understand a star at the time, probably not as like our sun, but like maybe like a red dwarf type of star. And when this Nibiru situation happens, the planetary surface, or the planetary pieces of Tiamat, would have essentially got caught up in where Saturn was, and they're caught, and Saturn would actually grab those pieces, and that's where you get the story of Kronos eating his children. So then they grab those children, they get into the orbit. They're in the orbit of Saturn, and that's the idea behind the children being eaten and then coming back out because they get pushed out during the time Zeus poisons Kronos. So when that story is talking about the idea of basically after Tiamat's pieces got pushed into Saturn, there would create nuclear storms in Saturn after the planetary pieces would hit Saturn several times. If you want a reference, think about Shoemaker-Levy hitting Jupiter and what kind of destruction got caused out of that on the planetary surface. And again, Jupiter is so-called a gas planet as well. So Jupiter and Saturn, so-called gas planets that have some sort of surface, because when it hits like nuclear, you can see it. So that's what I think. That's what my opinion is on this, as far as how the storm got created, what we call the hexagon storm, and that is would be created by all of those planetary surface or planetary pieces hitting and creating a nuclear storm on a mass scale, and also blotting out the energy of Saturn as its star, and then creating kind of like, like clouds that would never go away. So there would be like a dark appearance, and that's where you get the idea of the dark star, the black sun,
Black hole sun,
which gets into the
won't you come?
So there you go. What do you think of that, Maddie?
Grim, you're crazy. Nah, dude, you know what? It's amazing how you could just like tell all that right off the top of your head, man. That's pretty. It's interesting, man. Listen to all that shit. The whole creation of the storm too. Is it like so basically at the end you're saying a nuclear storm? Is it just a constant nuclear storm from all the explosion that taken place there? It actually formed this hexagon storm that they.
Yeah, nuclear is probably the wrong word for it, but he emphasized his point. It's
plasma. It's more like a plasma storm, but
exactly
it's
what it is.
By nuclear disasters.
That's exactly what it is, and it lets off fucking sometimes gamma rays and shit. Fucking because so does X-rays come off of fucking Scotch tape. You know what I mean? It's electrical reactions in plasma, so you get that kind of stuff. But it's not nuclear. That's the same with the sun. They're like, oh, it's nuclear, this and that. No, it's not. Yeah. Otherwise, you couldn't even look at it.
Well, that goes back to my first question when I first came into your podcast, man. How long have they actually been worshiping that, like the hexagon based on Saturn? Because you got to think. I think to myself is like,
worship is the wrong word. Worship is the wrong word.
Oh, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, there's two different. There's two different understandings of it. I believe if you're, go back and think because we assumed they weren't that smart, so we assumed that they were worshiping when they were studying. You know what I mean? Because we assume that we're only so old because we've been told that. So we're stuck in paradigms that create assumptions. So we assume that we just started, civilization a few thousand years ago. We assume, you know what I mean, way too much. And yeah. I think we need to go back and realize that human beings are millions of years old. I mean, look, we walked with the dinosaurs, and when were the last dinosaurs here? 65 million years ago. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and.
All right, let me reiterate then, bro, because you're correct. You actually begin to study that. When did they actually begin to study that? Because it's like, how do you? That's where it goes back. Because if it's that long ago. Are you saying like possibly life came from there too, that we knew about it without having the ability to see that storm?
No, the planets it was so much closer that we could actually see it with our naked eye.
Yeah, because we were like our ancestors were there.
It was like you said. Sorry, I'm loud. I'm covering my mic.
No, that's all right. So yeah, the ancestors basically are the Tiamat people, you know. So like they were there and they considered it the golden age. And that's considered the golden age because of it was the Saturn is at that time was like a star, I think.
All right. So when you say you're saying that when
Saturn goes around Sirius, and the Sun goes around Sirius. Now Saturn goes around the Sun because the Sun captured our solar system, our planets, our heaven, our Saturn, and our because that in our Jupiter and our gas giants. That's what happens. There's no there. I don't think there are any. I mean, they might say there are, but I don't think there are any binary. I mean, singularity star systems like this one. Not one and out there because it's a positive and a negative you need to one end and another end you need to create to have the electrical flow. You know what I mean? And for it to be the Z pinch that it is. So they would go wah 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 wah. You know what I mean? Around each other and then back out, over around each other and back out. And that's how it works in the laboratory. So we're going around. When we look at Sirius, we can see the precession of all the other stars go around, except Sirius doesn't. It stays right there. Like we're holding hands with it, shaking hands with it. That means we're going towards it and for it. You know what I mean? While everything else is going around. We're going back and forth around it. You know what I'm trying to say? It just takes a very long time to get back over there. And that's what I think they're talking about. The golden age is when we get that's the area where it speeds up.
We're gonna basically move back over that direction to Sirius in the future.
Yep. Yeah. And so we might have another reaction, another solar interference. It might flip flop every time. It might be like clockwork.
Told us that, like based on calculations and models, that we're basically gonna move into Andromeda galaxy. Solar system. We're gonna basically like meld together with it, but that's like 4,000 years away.
That's with the standard model of gravity bullshit. We're in a much more stagnant electric relationship than that. This is like a machine and it functions like this. We're not crashing into each other. We're not doing all that stuff. When things happen, it's on that electrical level, like the electrons swapping because of the big matter. I mean, that's what you got to see it as for it to make sense. Like I see it all flowing and working in my head this way. Nothing stops. When I think of other ways, things stop. Nope, problem there. It doesn't work. Oh, nope, problem there. I really am a troubleshooter. I'm one of those. And that's why all of my jobs have something to do with troubleshooting. Neon sign mechanic, fucking HVAC, fucking installations. You know what I mean? Engineering, all the stuff I do.
Yeah, I told you I'm a technician too myself. Last time, do electronics and shit. No, it's like I don't like you guys are so full of the knowledge of it, bro. That's what I'm trying to learn about why like the whole thing with the Saturn and all that stuff too. You just went so deep with it, bro. Like I said, that's why I like listening to you, bro. I've been listening to you a lot lately. He's like I listen to you live more than anything else.
He's got a lot of good pieces, right, to his puzzle too.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to listen more and more. I'm trying to do my own new stuff and listen to like different channels and like different stuff because like the other shit I already like follow it so easily. It's like, but I want to learn this type of thing with the Saturn because I see it all over the place and it's just we
all start out just asking why. It's like
why exactly.
Like I started like just kind of getting into it because of Truth Media Revolution. He showed
you do, and at the same time
he was doing it on a side kind of thing. He was talking to someone else somewhere else, and I was checking that out, and I was like, "What? He does research on Saturn? How does?" So I was like, "Why?" So I started looking into it, and I started getting deeper. And he has this monotheistic version of looking at it, but I don't have that, so I'm like outside of looking at that. So I look at it from a different perspective. And I look around my world and I see the same kind of thing. But I have a different perspective on it. I don't see necessarily good or evil perceptions. I do see like science perception, like kind of positive and negative. Although I don't necessarily believe in science, I use it kind of like a tool. to explain things.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, science isn't about belief anyway. It's about ideas. You can't
Exactly.
change a belief. You have to be able to change an idea if facts present themselves to the
But over
contrary.
time, scientists have become like turning it into a religion.
You're absolutely correct.
So I'm trying to stay outside of that box.
Yep. That's what they're trying to push into everything. Everything. Don't listen to this. Just trust the science. Trust the science.
Yeah, I don't believe anything. I don't believe none of what I fucking hear, half of what I see.
Agreed.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. That's why I even said it to somebody the other day. I'm like, I talk to these people on YouTube more now than I talk to people outside more. But I do say shit to people. Like even when I was recording the chemtrails today, I was like saying to people, "Do you guys even look up the sky anymore? You see that? Some of them are looking up." A lot of people actually knew it.
I know I find myself getting irritated too with people right off the muzzle. I don't even relate well to them anymore. I'm like, you don't even fucking see that, do you? And they're like, I've never said a word to them before in my life. Like,
You know what I say to them? I'd be like, "You see that stuff coming out of the planes and spreading? That's not real."
and I just walk away because it wasn't that. I
Exactly.
go, what the fuck, man? Are they spraying on us, man? And then when they look up, disappear. And then they go, oh, the fuck is this? They check their pocket and shit. Sometimes they don't know what hit them. Did that guy just fucking make me look up and touch me in my pocket or something? Like, you watch too many movies, man.
Yeah, I say it, bro.
All the twist.
I even say when I walk by, like when I see like baby bottled water, for babies, like the bottled water with fluoride. I love when I walk by. I go, if it's good for your teeth, where's their teeth? Where's the baby's teeth?
Like ding, 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 ding. Hello.
Sometimes I take out my phone and I'm like, let me see fluoride. I go, oh, look at that in March over in the UK. They said it's like what it does to your brains and thyroid and all this. And I read it out loud.
Yeah. I like at this kiosk. I went to the kiosk at the mall, and they have those fucking cell phone cases for babies teething.
Yes.
And I go, oh, look, man. It's too bad that all the microwaves are actually giving the babies brain cancer and shit before they're old enough to even know about it right now. As I'm standing there and all the moms looking at them. I always do that type of shit.
Yep.
Like, oh, my God. Did you know the ELF waves create brain damage? You're microwaving your baby's head with those phones.
I did. I've been doing research on that. I have a whole bunch of flowcharts.
Yeah, it disrupts the oxygen flow to the brain. It fucks up the oxygen in between the cells, makes the blood all sticky and coagulative. It's really bad news, man.
I say it to people in the gym all the time. I try to be nice to the girls and be like, I tell them, even the guys, I'm like, get that off your nuts, man, your phone. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I don't even bring mine into the
Matter
gym.
of fact, turn that shit off if you're going to be standing in the room with me, man. I don't want extra 5G, 4G, 5G, 4G, 5G, 9 different people in my room microwaving me at the same time. Matter of fact, put that shit out in the mailbox. I saw a TV show where this guy is really weird with that shit, with the space blankets and I was laughing. But I feel the pain, man, on a more minute level.
It's fucking funny, bro. Yo, man, it's 6 o'clock too, yo. All right, I gotta go feed my dogs right now too. The ones whimpering behind me too. Yo, fear porn, man. Again, thank you, bro. Awesome shit.
Yeah.
Giggity.
Hey, everybody, I'm back. I had to clean. I've been cleaning, spring cleaning like crazy. Talking to my boss and stuff, so I was busy, guys. I'm sorry.
Welcome
That's
back.
cool, bro. How you been, man?
Pretty good, man. Been pretty busy. Like, been working lately and cleaning my house and yeah, being on shows and hanging out with people on here too. So yeah.
I've been seeing you. Yo, tomorrow night online, bro. If you come by, if you have any, like I said, you're not on my block list at all. If you have any issues, bro, hit me up. I'll leave my Google page open in case you got.
Yeah. No worries, man. I'll definitely chat with you, man, for sure. You're always great.
Awesome. Yeah,
like.
Grim, I sent you a link last week too, bro.
Yeah, you're all banned now. You're banned. Somebody actually got upset. I said you're banned, and they were like, "What the fuck, man? I don't expect that out of you, man." I was like, "No, never mind. You're not banned. Forget it."
I know, bro. I know you don't do that shit.
Yeah, we're just moving on nowadays, anyways. But Fear, by the way, man, like mad shoutouts on you, man. Like I appreciate you kept on running your shows and stuff, and I seen your first couple shows at the very start, and I gave you the motivation, or at least I tried anyways. Hopefully that helped. And yeah, man, sorry I haven't been here. Like I've been like on the panel and just sitting there doing nothing. Sorry guys, I've just been like seriously, I've been outside and cleaning my yard and doing all this crap I've been doing. So my bad. Uh, yeah, I don't really have anything to bring up like about insightful comments or anything
No
because
worries.
I'm just so busy. I do have a show later on today that I'm sending out invites, and I've been trying to work on that at the same time, multitasking like crazy. But I gotta go, guys. I am gonna jump out and love y'all and fucking just hit me up whenever you guys wanna. You know what I mean? So love
Hey,
and
I
peace,
Sounds
guys.
good.
I gotta go feed these two.
All right,
I gotta
peace, man.
go too. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Fear. I gotta go. Peace,
Fearful
guys.
ship, bro. Mr. Grimm, always a pleasure, bro. Again, man, this guy fucking healed my dog, ladies and gentlemen. Healed my dog. I'm gonna take a
Awesome.
picture of that shit for
You
you.
healed your dog, man. I just showed
You
you.
told me to put it on it, bro. I wouldn't have thought to put it on her, bro.
He showed you the door. You went through it.
That's right.
Well, yeah, okay. It was. Thank you, bro. It was a co-op
You had
effort.
fucking nuts to do it. Like so many people just ignore the information that they're given, man, and they'll just let their dog suffer because they
That's
don't
what's
believe
As
cool
soon
it.
as
about
I
this
hung up
whole
with you, I put that
process
shit on her.
is that you could do
As soon
that.
as I left the thing, I went and put it on her. What are you kidding me?
You know,
I know
because
it's not bad. I've been
if
taking
you
it,
guys
bro.
didn't ever communicate, you wouldn't have known that, and you wouldn't have
Exactly.
been able to help your dog.
Exactly. And this guy showed me how to make it and everything. And dude, he's fucking awesome, bro. Again, Fear Porn, you too, man, for telling me the whole thing too that I didn't get to do last time, man. But I gotta get going,
No
guys.
problem,
Take
man.
you guys.
We'll catch you around, man.
Peace.
All right, bro. Peace.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna head out soon anyway, and you probably have to go soon anyway. But did you want to like do a final thought? You know, and
No, I was gonna drop a link for somebody, but I mean, since you're taking off, there's no sense in all that.
I'm not
I
taking off
gotta go
right
too.
now, just in a minute.
Yeah, because I gotta run as well. You're right.
Cool. Well, it's been a pretty good show.
Yeah, if you
I've
want to
been
drop your link
enjoying
down
the
in the description
conversations.
box.
They kind of went all over the board. It was originally going to be a show on Saturn today, but it kind of like went around and around and came back. And I like
It
the
was on
information
Saturn,
you presented. I'm definitely going to check it out and kind of re-listen later.
Well, yeah, it correlates a lot with your stuff, you know. But the thing was that was just an introductory video to the actual information they are about to present. So that'll get you into the idea that they know what they're talking about. Now go watch exactly what they're talking about because it gets
Yes.
way more exciting than that stupid little part. That was just a silly little part. It was more like for the sheeple kind of people who need to be brought into the idea through all of the, you know what I mean? They have to work on different levels, and then they bring you all the boring science that you're gonna love. You're gonna love that stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a stepping stone process. You have to
Yeah,
know
so-
something before you can know something else,
Right.
kind of thing, especially when doing research.
Good shit, man. I really appreciate you, just having me on, letting me pop in, giving me that link.
Yeah,
I'm
no
gonna hop off
problem.
though.
Great having you.
Yeah,
And don't
good
worry
info.
about Anon. He's all right. We go back and forth. We have different views on things, but that's how we work. You know, it's like we're friends that like exist close to each other, and like we don't have that out there in the world.
Oh, I'm
Like
not worried
in the
about it.
movement,
I know
we
I know
don't
it comes around. A
get to
lot of
talk to
people.
people.
It happened to me too when I didn't know about this stuff, and you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this and that. Then I had to go, damn, I fucking learned a bunch of dumb shit. Look at this. This is what it is. And they'd say, oh, assumption and faith will get you to here and there, and then you go from there and build, and there's a little logic, and then assumption and faith from there. So it's all garbage. And this other avenue is where you connect all those higher levels of thought. Just so you know. But
Well, I'm all about
until he
non-judging and like looking at
sees
other
it,
people's perspectives. So I like to look at other
and
people's
I'm not really
perspectives.
about
I
that
don't like
much.
believe them, you know. I just like looking at them and kind of checking them out, kind of looking at them from a
I used to
different
until
view.
I saw too much. Yeah, I used to. You know what I mean? I used to, bro.
Well, maybe I'm like
Very
in a lower stepping stone than you. I'll eventually get to your
I
level
don't know if it's
of
called that.
understanding.
I don't know if it's called that at all, dude. but I'm saying
Well, no,
it's just other.
you definitely are a little
It's just
more
my
awake than
approach.
I am, in a way. So
My
because of your
approach
research
is
understanding,
more.
so I'm
I'm
gonna
not
eventually
interested
get
in
there.
certain items. That's all it is. My approach is different. Sometimes my logic doesn't allow me to be interested
Yeah,
in
but that's
certain
good. I
items.
like that everybody has different approaches.
Yeah, yeah. That's all it is. It's not any different high
It's like
level
I
approach.
have guided meditation sessions, and when I do that with people, it's like they have different viewpoints on how they're going to go through their own mind, and it's interesting to see each of their different perspectives on how they see the world and how they think other people think of them and things like that. So I'm like intrigued by that type of thing. I think it's because I don't really understand emotions, but that's just my own craziness.
For some reason, I'm not subscribed to fag paper. I'm listening to you, and it's not really craziness, dude. But it is your own, mix, your own mix of um, experiences to bring you to the ability to rationalize things in a particular way,
Exactly.
particular way.
But
How
in
do you
the
leave a
end, like,
message right
it
when you
was
get on
neat
there?
seeing you and Maddie being able to kind of correlate on something that's previously happened that was very positive for both of you. I found that really intriguing just to experience. Because I like to experience moments, and that was definitely a moment.
Oh, as far as that dog and the stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, man, and I'm glad you were able to witness that. I, I don't want to sound like yeah, it happens all the time, but it does. I do this all the time, man. I help people with cancer in their throat by telling them about sodium bicarbonate. I help people with all kinds of problems, colon cancer, fucking. They can't even believe it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I thought I was gonna die. Um, yeah, you're not gonna die, man. You gotta learn
Well, I
about.
get that too when I'm at the dispensary. That I have patients that like come back and like thank me for helping them, get what they needed for their process, and I kind of stepping stones like draw them through it so they actually get exactly what they need for themselves, not what anybody else needs for them or wants
But
for them.
marijuana costs them a lot of money compared to baking soda, which does a better job and is quicker
Well,
and
yeah,
cheaper. You know what I mean? So that's why I bring them to where they don't have to spend the money, dude. That's where you
that's
empower and you
awesome.
heal everybody that way instead of just the people who can afford it. Because I mean, it takes a lot of weed to cure certain things, man. A lot, you know, a lot of
Yeah,
money.
for me, it's like with the research I've done and kind of forced to do, it's been all about this mostly the CBD or the CBDA or the
Yeah, and then you need to give them raw
THCA.
plants and juice it anyway for that.
It's all
You
about the
can't even let it sit and ferment and cure because then the CBD turns to THC basically. You know what
only
I'm trying
if
to.
you carboxylate or decarboxylate it.
That's my point. That means let it sit, let it cure, heat it up. If
Yeah.
you do any of those things,
Yeah, so like
you
when I
dry it
talk
out.
to patients, I tell them, don't do that. Like have it
Once it
without
turns into
or
those
heat it
crisp, yeah,
basically. And we get stuff that's non-decarboxylated,
yeah. Well,
so it's
uh,
perfect
you gotta
for
give
that
them the best shit. You
situation.
gotta give them
But
is
I
straight
understand what you're
juice
coming,
from the
how you're
plant.
coming from, because I'm also um, a
All the live enzymes are still
kind of
working and working
shamanism type
good.
of person. I heal or I help people heal. People come to me several times in a whatever time frame. Like if you go the month, weeks, days. I'm also a tarot reader, but I look at it from more of a kind of psychological perspective, not a quasi kind of metaphorical perspective. And in a sense, I'm just looking at the cards. You're the one who placed the cards, in the order they are. So that's your mind, and I'm just interpreting it for you.
Yeah, I don't
That's the
bring
way I
cards
see
into
it.
there because
I'm not
that's
like one of those kind of,
I stay away from that. I do that. Stay away from that. It's in the cards kind of thing.
yeah. But I
because that's
do
when you
get
start. That's
people
when
like
they're.
coming to
That's the
me.
first step towards taking the planets and turning them
It's
into
not
gods
about
and dumb shit.
telling someone their future or anything. It's about you. If are you on the right path of your choice, or are you on the path of that you don't choose? Like, are you on the path that you don't want to be on? You know. And I try to help people get on the path they want to be on. That's my whole process. So I also like, do those guided meditations and stuff. But I'm an
Well, I don't
artist.
help them. I
You
don't
know,
try to help
my
them get
whole
on the
my
path
whole
they want to be
focus is creation.
on. I
I'm a
guess I am a little
creation
different
person.
because I don't help you try and get on the path you
But you're
want
an
to.
artist too. When you
I
do
just
your
I
glowing
try to just put
things.
you on the fucking right path. I don't care what path you said you want to be on. I'm a little
Yeah,
different.
well, I find that when I do read people, they're not on the path they want to be on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I come across people that are, and I just tell them, you're doing what you need to do. Keep doing it. Generally. But the people that come to me and they find that they're,
I'm not a.
having issues or something, then you gotta like try to help you get around those issues. And usually they're driven from the past, so it's about like letting go of the past. And I think that a lot of people get stuck in their own mind of the past and the memories and replaying them over and over again. It's really weird. But I don't deal with that. That doesn't happen to me personally.
I think I figured it out. I think I got him the link sent.
Cool. Well, I'm probably going to go here anyway soon.
Give it a second though. He might have something to
See
say.
if he comes on and says something.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart feller. He's a pretty fart smeller. Hell Wars. I lost the path I wanted to be on 7 paths ago.
Nice.
I won't be cooking crack. Oh, okay, baking soda. Get the kind with no aluminum in it though. Pure sodium bicarbonate. That's all you use. Well, I put the link out there for him.
All right. Well, so anyway,
Got anything to add? Yeah, what's up? That was a good little introduction and talk about Saturn. You do know your shit. It's nice to hear. It's refreshing.
yeah, I do have a lot of things. It's when I come across information, I connect it to something in my mind, and it's usually how your brain synapses work, and it creates the personality. And then my personalities are all connected to other personalities, so I end up getting caught up figuring out what's connected to what, and my brain fires so fast that I try to like explain that, and it gets like caught up in tangents. So is what I did was I got these mind maps to where I can actually put them down and connect them to things, and I make them myself. And then eventually, like, they build and build and build, and you have like all this information that connects to stuff. And that is how my mind works. So I it's easier when I look at my mind maps and I actually communicate explaining that way and using them as kind of a notes.
Yeah, it works. Too. It is.
And when
It's
I'm just explaining something to somebody, because then my mind goes all over the place sometimes. And sometimes I get lost and have to go back. When I have them written down, I can go back that way easier. And not go on off track and go on a tangent or something. Although, I might still do that anyway, just because I'm crazy like that.
yeah. I was gonna say sometimes when you do that, it's actually even better for you because you're kind of writing the way your brain is naturally working instead of the way you think you should have organized it. You write it. You learn to ride your brain, man.
But I didn't originally start like researching
Writing a
Saturn.
script is like
It just led
kind
that
of
direction.
screwy. It messes you up. You just start. Point is like I let him see my flaws. I keep my face on the screen, and I talk to you so you can see my flaws, my behaviors, my normal. You know I'm a human being, and I'm not just hiding that to sound and look more important. Because if you just listen to me, I sound more important than when you look at me and I'm flailing around and doing all this, or looking like insecure at moments, or happy at moments. Whatever. People read those as weaknesses or flaws, and then they just don't listen to your words because you're not behaving in a certain manner, and you're not really still, and like only like particularly moving your head at occasional times to emphasize your point. They
Yeah.
get used to that. They're brainwashed into looking for that to be the important guy to listen to.
Hey, he's there.
Good shit.
Welcome, Tag Paper.
Here's
Is your mic working?
here's a link to, if you hear this music in my background, here's the link to it to put on your description box so you don't get a copyright strike. It's Creative Commons.
Hey.
Yeah, there he is. Welcome.
Yeah, hey, how are you?
Hey, Fact Paper, how's it going? You got some
Cool show up here for
Saturn
not,
business for you?
not
This
too
is a
bad.
Saturn
Yeah.
discussion today.
Yeah, that was quite cool, that was. Can you hear me, can you?
Yeah, that was off the top of his head, a little wizard. A little Saturn
Yeah,
alien.
that was quite cool. Yeah. Yeah. I was having lots of problems, though. I don't know if it's because of where I'm from, or it's just connection issues. It keeps crashing out and freezing, and I don't know. I think maybe just adjusted my audio. I think maybe
Yeah,
the
you're a
Google
little bit
Pixie's
loud.
having
I
fun
think
with
that's a
me
little better.
tonight. Does that sound better, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so it's nice to meet you, Fiorcorn.
Nice to meet you too. I'll have to add you to my
Yeah,
circles.
yeah, definitely. I'm still trying to work this whole Google Circles thing out, you know. Do you have to subscribe on Google Plus and YouTube at the same time?
There's you don't subscribe in Google Plus. You just subscribe on the YouTube. In Google Plus,
Okay.
you just connect people to your circle, and they connect you back.
Yeah, I'll work it out soon enough. You know, I'm
Yeah, I
too
got a
busy
mess.
watching
I
other people.
subscribe and I add just about everybody.
I'm new to
Yeah,
it too. I just like started this like
Mess.
process, and I wanted to basically create stuff. So I figured it out by like getting the software for it, and then I had to go to um, like tutorials to actually figure out how to use the stuff I had, and then I
yeah,
created those videos, and that's how those got up there. And then it kind of like started figuring, hey, I wanted to create a hub for all these like truth movement like perspectives out there that are like speaking their mind in these
yeah,
chats. I wanted to like bring them all together somehow, and that's how fear porn propaganda got born.
yeah,
I just want to
yeah.
be
Well,
broken the
fair
wheel.
play.
And me and my friend, we were just like, hey, we like always talk about stuff all the time when you come over. What if we actually got on and like did our own kind of, you know, Sacramento version, of the
Stoner
talk,
sofa. Yeah.
and we'll just discuss our research, and that's how it kind of like got formed. So
Say that
people
one more
started
time.
fear porn
What kind of
propaganda,
version? I couldn't even hear you.
huh?
What kind of
Stoner
version? I
sofa.
couldn't hear you.
One more time.
You said what kind? You said some kind of version. I couldn't hear you.
Version.
Like a particular version of this, like your pimento
Type
or
of
what you say?
software, do you mean?
I'm not sure what version you mean.
Oh, you said Sacramento. Never mind. I'm a
Oh
fucking.
yeah, Sacramento. Yeah, the
I
oh yeah,
realized.
Sacramento version of like our perspective here in this area. That kind of thing.
Hmm.
But in a round table kind of format.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's going quite well,
That was
isn't
the
it?
original
Yeah.
idea. It kind of evolved from then.
Uh,
What it is. It is what it is. That's when you open a hangout, you are a hub for a minute, and you know what I mean? And everybody can get together in the center and discuss stuff and then throw it back out to the wheel, the edge of the wheel later.
yeah. well, hopefully there's quite a lot of good information comes out of it. You know, I like the whole title, fear porn. You know, it's definitely false evidence appearing real all over the place. And yeah, so good luck with that. Yeah, Grim, you're a bagger. Last night we were on there and you were showing that videos, you know, from the Electric Universe. And over in my time, it was like silly o'clock in the morning, you know, and I was falling asleep and just flogging and flogging and flogging. So I woke up and I stuck the Electric Universe series on YouTube, you know. My dog hates me. He hasn't been walked well. He's been walked very little today. You know, it's quite interesting stuff. You know, there's a lot that's you know very very possible. You know, and if people started thinking down that line, then I'm sure quite a lot would bubble through the surface. You know, there's one or two points I don't agree with, right enough. You know, but. That's minor to the more practical side of the electrical universe theory. Yeah, it's
that shit at first, you know, because I made straight A's in school, so I learned the actual wrong shit really good. Like I learned it good, the wrong shit. This is harder to even look at this.
Well, you know, the wrong shit lets you think into a sort of possible logical perception, you know, and so that you can take on other ideas, you know, from a logical perspective rather than like a sheeple. Yeah. It's a good filter. Yeah, so you know, I'll be sitting on the end of my bed tonight, more thinking about it. You know, I'm quite fascinated about the composition of this comet, and you know, and with the solar radiation, the different composites it can produce, you know, and I imagine under different wavelengths of light, it will produce even more compositions, and I imagine, you know, if this is a sequence of science that they're willing to go down to a path that they're willing to go down, then I think there'd be quite a lot of really useful.
Unravel the creation mystery real quick with this.
Well, possibly, you know, but you could take away from it, take a lot of technologies away from it.
Plasma electrical state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're already showing you the whole, every ounce of space there is full of plasma. And it's all creatable matter through electrical vibration. You add something to it. You can't feel it and touch it yet until you add electricity to it in a certain way, and then boom, gases form, and those gases can be electrified to create higher level compounds, matter, minerals, material. Then the minerals can be electrified in ways to create amino acids and shit, create life. Dude.
And it really shits on the whole energy as mass theory. You know, I think that needs to be reevaluated and most of it thrown out the window. You know, it's okay for certain aspects, but it does have its boundaries. You know, and
it's like a broken clock. It's right twice a day.
It's useful for certain things. You know,
simplicities, yeah.
Yeah, you know, but it's hardly the real deal because it's got boundaries, hasn't it? You know. And,
it's a recipe that
definitely
works, but it's not breakdown. Like you know, I'm learning.
Hey guys, go ahead and finish up your final thoughts because I'm gonna have to check out. Thanks for coming on. What was your name again? Tag paper. And good to see you again, Grim. Just like Tag paper, you go start your final thought first, and then Grim, you do yours.
Hi from Scotland. The end.
I love my kids. I love my boys. All right.
It's good having you on. and we'll have to have you on longer next time. I'll send you an invite next time I'm on.
For
Alright,
sure. Yeah, and pop over the water sometime and have a chat with us as well. That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
interesting conversation. I'm sorry to cut it short.
But yeah, they're on the other side of the pond, so it's kind of fun over there, man. You got to listen carefully because all of the different accents. He'll bring you a table full of different accents to deal with.
Yeah.
So you got to really
Nice full of
listen,
golf balls.
man. That's
Hey,
why
I
I'm.
like it because I don't get to travel, so you know, this is like almost like traveling.
Yeah, that's the closest I get so to the other side of the pond is hanging out with Fact Paper and the guys over here, Harry Cookie
Yeah.
Monster. Yeah, it's a good shit.
Well, we're all happy over here. We're just we're just
Keep
going
smiling.
into spring, and winter's quite harsh here, quite dark, quite long, dark weather, and now the clocks are all going forward, and everybody's smiling and coming up with silly ideas. It's lots of fun.
That's why there's a lot of social activities there because you all like to get together in the cold, inside
Yeah.
in places. Yeah, good shit. Maybe I'll
Right,
be able to
indeed.
get up there one day if I can ever stow away on a ship because I don't do passports and stuff.
You're always welcome.
I don't know if you're nervous of that. Just sneak over.
Well, that's
All right,
not that improbable either, is it?
I have to go, guys. So hey, again, thanks for coming. Good to see you again, and nice to meet you.
No
Peace.
worries. You too. Take care, dude. So is this us off air then? Is it?
Oh shit, it's the wrong window. And remember, do your research.